So I think they're quite lucky to actually be in this position where they're leading 3-0. They've got the economical advantage. They just need to hold on to it. Right now, Forest. He was hoping for some kind of aggression towards the connector. There was a man there. It was Dobbo, but he wasn't going to face into the crosshair. Instead, playing this one a lot slower. This time round, Dignitas more of a stack towards this A site. They've got two-man configuration on long and already rotating a man over. So they do seem to think this is going to be another A hit. So far, GamerLegion somewhat undecided, but as they stack 3 players up towards long themselves, this could be really good for them. Smoke comes over. They do need to clear out Forest's angle. It's a pretty common one considering they haven't had long control this whole time. They do need to be careful, but that's even better. Coordinated flash. It's perfect. Forest can fly over the top, take down the one. The AWP follows through for another and a third, and it is a complete shutdown. Dignitas, they could have sat like ducks in the corner. They would have almost certainly been pre-fired, but instead, at exactly the right moment, they take the initiative. They go for the aggression, the coordinated flashbang peek. And it gives them the massive advantage that they needed. 0 on the B site, looking to try and recover this one somehow. That smoke adds major complications to things. Does mean that he's no longer vulnerable to heaven, but no one's actually waiting there. Harry's just towards the barrels, and they need to make sure they clear this, and there we go. Straight through the smoke, he finds the headshot. Dobbo left on his lonesome, has to tap the bomb, but he's got CTs all around him, ready to take him down, and ready to snatch away that AK as a nice little consolation prize too. So, 4-0 here for Dignitas, a fantastic start. And remember, they are the favourites in this series, yeah? They're actually, by quite a margin, the favourites in this series. They're a top 30 in the world team. They've got some former major winning talent on their roster. GamerLegion, kind of upcomers. As I say, I've been very impressed with their performances recently. But up against a Titan like Dignitas, I'm not sure I fancy their chances. Forest right now. This AK looking to try and do some damage. Dobbo instead, far too quick to the trigger. Forest can't even react to that one whatsoever. Man advantage now for GamerLegion with 1:20 on this clock. Still a major firepower advantage here for Dignitas, but as York's posted on the angle, he needs to make sure he connects. There's the first, falls away, no trade available. That's unfortunate, and Holzer even punching him for more. Can't quite connect through the wall, deploys the nade, and falls right back. Needs to wait on the support of his teammates, can't continue to go for these aggressive prods. And Freiburg right now, pushing right up to long. Formerly the king of banana, now has to do it here on overpass. It's a similar shape, I suppose, and there we go. Comes out on top in the engagement. Rusty falls. Holzer can't connect the shot through the smoke, but Harry's there to pick up the pieces, even swapping out to the USP. Look at the confidence on this man right now as he takes down 3 and is able to retrieve that fallen AWP to drop back over to his teammate. Their economy right now is thriving, and their confidence is through the roof. Round number 6 then, Dignitas still continuing this lead. GamerLegion with the loss bonus, they do actually have enough cash to go for another buy in this one. Remember, it was kind of a bit of a lackluster investment in the last. They did have an investment, but they dropped a couple of players down to the pistols to make sure that they did have enough money to go for the full buy here. It does mean that AWP comes out, AKs all round. A little bit of a lack of utility on these players, but it shouldn't cause them too many problems. The firepower has been there. They have been hitting these shots. They've just, I don't know, been lacking elsewhere. Minute 10 on this clock as it continues to tick. Oh, shit. And there we go. Sorry, folks, not my most professional moment in the world. I just spilled an entire drink over all of my equipment, but I've got someone sorting it all out, and we're right back into the game. First round on the board here for GamerLegion. Big one for them to take, of course. That's why you use bottles with lids on them when you're casting, because you put a glass in front of you, you move, you punch it over everything. Nonetheless, quick timeout comes through. It's actually from Dignitas, potentially to discuss what went wrong there, how they actually managed to lose that one. They've been like massively in the driver's seat throughout this whole thing so far, majorly controlling the pace, actually very convincingly taking these rounds too. So that's really the first time that they've taken a blow and not known how to handle it. That timeout quickly wrapped up though. Get right back into this one, into the 7th. AWP on both sides. Battle of the Titans, really. Holzerk versus Error. Two very, very talented AWPers. Both, I believe, from Sweden. Let me just double check that. No, Holzerk's Norwegian. What am I on about? Completely wrong with that one. All the same. We can call it the Battle of the Scandinavians. Once again, GamerLegion, they've just been gifted this fountain control, and to be honest, I like this setup from Dignitas. They're not getting too aggressive, they're not taking too many chances early on, they don't want to risk going for these fountain peaks and losing a man at the start of every round, but Holzerk playing very, very defensive does kind of just tailor towards losing masses of control on this A site and potentially getting overwhelmed and heavily relying on a solid defense actually on the bomb site itself to hold it up. Some flashes pop over the top. It's all about trying to draw some rotations here. GamerLegion making some noise on A. They've drawn a rotation to the side. It means they've got a 3-man setup now. And as 0 entries onto B, they've only got 1 player to contend with. They can bombard through, try and overwhelm this one. In the meantime, Freiburg comes out on top in toilets once again. But Rusty deals the damage onto B. That allows this C4 to go down. They just need to hold for a couple of seconds longer. Harry peeks from lower. Only finds the 1. I thought he was on for 2 there. And Rusty going huge. 3 kills to his name here in the 7th. And Freiburg stuck between a rock and a hard place. Snappy headshot to bring it back into a 2-on-1. But I don't think he's got a lot of opportunity here. Flashes popping over the top. Does actually connect one. Tons of damage through the wall. Gets the kill with the USP. Only needs to get it 1 more bullet. Freiburg, what are you doing? 4 kills to keep Dignitas in this one, and he's got time on the bomb despite not having the kit. That is unbelievable, and that is why Dignitas are just 2 or 3 levels higher than GamerLegion here in this matchup. Look at this on the replay. Rusty, massive 3K to keep him in this, and then Freiburg somehow coming through with the clutch. It's an unfortunate miss from Error. The initiative to just switch to the USP, take matters into your own hands, not go for the save, not today. Keep Dignitas applying this pressure. They do have to face up against another full investment here, and actually, it's much better than their own, despite the fact that they won the round. That CT economy, so much harder to maintain control of. But they've still got that AWP on Holzerk. That's really what counts right now. That's what keeps that A-site defense solid. Slow stuff once again from GamerLegion. They take control towards fountain, toilets. They know that it's inherently theirs pretty much every single round, but this time Holzerk getting aggressive towards long, into the tunnels. Rusty seems to have an idea of it, but Holzerk posted on the angle. It's a free kill for him. No one can go for this trade right now, but he's going to have the information. He needs to call for the rotations quickly. Here they come. No one on the site, but they can contend from long. They can contend from the dumpster. The smokes are in play, but they need to keep this one at bay. The rotation flashes need to pop over the top. There's an incendiary from Holzerk, but it's not going to stop this C4 from going down. A 5v4 retake for Dignitas. And this is going to be tricky. GamerLegion, they've all fallen back to toilets. They're going to play this one by one. Just delay this bomb defuse as long as they can. That's their real chance in this one. The smoke on the C4. Another one posted. And Freiburg's just going to try and hold this. Spamming away through the smoke. They need to just land a lucky shot onto him. And it's not going to happen. Ari finds 2. And the C4 diffuses in the very end. A couple of kills come through at the end there from Era. Keeps this AWP floating. But once again, a round going Dignitas' way. Oh, another timeout comes through. I like it. I like the fact that they keep utilizing these timeouts. Make sure that they maintain control of this. They don't just let it slip away so easily can. And Dignitas, they're really in the driver's seat right now. Despite the fact that so many of these rounds have come super close. In fact, originally, I was saying the rounds are super one-sided. Dignitas have just been completely steamrolling. It's kind of been this last 3 that have actually come down to the wire. But when the rounds do come so close and you still come out on top, it just beats down the confidence, the morale of your opponents. GamerLegion right now, they've still got money to work with. That's the one saving grace. Their economy management on this T side has actually been pretty fantastic, but the firepower is just not there. Beautiful boost from Forest. Dobbo completely unsuspecting. The door's been blown off, and he's got his back the wrong way, despite the fact that there's 2 players in short to help, to support him if anyone actually gets aggressive. They just weren't watching for the boost whatsoever. GamerLegion, once again, a one-man deficit with a minute on this clock. I actually thought the Dignitas' default with the single anchor on the A site was going to cause them problems. And so far, it just hasn't at all. It's been fantastic. Holzek, such a talented AWPer that he is able to find 1 or 2 kills on the entry pretty much every single time. And it means that off of the back of it, he can call for the rotations, and they're always snappy. This is kind of just what comes with a roster that's been together for such a long time. The communication, the coordination is just perfect. And as soon as a call's made, everybody jumps off the back of it. Holzerk this time around hasn't got his favorite gun in hand. He's only got this M4, and he's playing a much more passive setup. This is a retake configuration towards this A site. They're allowing GamerLegion to take this bomb site, and with demand advantage, they want to try and come in for the retake. M4s and AKs at hand. Freiburg with another snappy headshot, looking for more. There's a second. And this pretty much all said and done right now. 4v2, there's nothing left that GamerLegion have in the tank. Zero takes a headshot, and Dignitas, once again, will be able to snatch away another round. Era just has to fall away and save here, realistically. He has still got a sightline on the bomb, but as the smoke gets posted, there's no way he can connect for all 4. Nice shot through the smoke. The bomb actually beeping faster and faster. There's another flick. Can't quite connect on the no-scope. And Forest does finally eliminate him. That will be that AWP that they're hoping for, that they can actually drop over to Holzerk. But my goodness, Era made that one expensive, and I really wasn't expecting him to do so. Unbelievable couple of shots there. And once again, despite the fact that GamerLegion are trailing so heavily, they've still got plenty of cash. They can still go for a full buy. Pause comes through. There's the Gamdom odds coming up on your screen right there. Massively, massively favoring Dignitas. And I'm not surprised. I mean, they were slightly favoring Dignitas at the start of this one. After this lead that they've snatched away. Bearing in mind, this is on their opponent's map pick too. I think the GamerLegion have got their work cut out for them if they want to try and pull their way back into this one. And it's looking like this pause is of a technical nature, so hopefully this one gets sorted out momentarily. But in the meantime, we can talk about our partners over at Gamdom. With plenty of different games like slots and Crash to keep you entertained, there is so much to offer. But if you prefer watching the action, Gamdom also offers match betting to earn cash on your favorite teams. With great rewards, cashback, rakeback, periodical free coins with Gamdom's rain feature, King of the Hill events, Gamdom is the place to be. Sign up with code TEB on gamdom.com or go to gamdom.com/r/TEB. Please, please, please be over 18 and make sure you gamble responsibly, folks. And look at that. The timing's absolutely perfect. You've even got the little Gamdon banner on the screen right there. And the timeout's ended. We're right back into the game. It's almost as if it was planned, but it wasn't, I promise. I think just one of the players was having tech issues. Either way, as we jump right back into this one. Another full investment here from GamerLegion. Not a lot of contingencies. Dobbo missing a flashbang here or there, I suppose. Zero could have done with a Molotov. That's about it. Everybody else with everything to work with. Rusty drops down to that Galil. That won't cause him too many problems, I don't think. And they take the B short control. I like this. A little bit more decisive from GamerLegion. They don't just float around on a slow default. They say, we're going to take this short control early. We're going to go for a nade stat towards monster. Doesn't pay any dividends this time around, but I wouldn't mind seeing it again another time. Gives them a little bit of leg room to work with as they do try and push on to this B-bomb site. The issue is there's still a stack in place, and it's looking like Forest is going to boost over the top. Doesn't spot anything just yet. Maybe could have had a sightline on the connector man, had Dobbo stuck around, and just about misses out the head on the jump. So that's actually going to bait him into a false sense of security here. By not spotting anybody out, he's going to rotate to A. Little does he know there's 5 attackers ready and waiting to pounce. In the meantime, Freiburg and Harry, though, they're winning all the engagements, and Forest isn't even needed. Heavily hot on his heels, getting back towards this site to provide support. But his teammates, they do it all on their lonesome. Error, the last man alive. That is a lightning-fast, wrist-breaking flick. But the round not in contention, and with 30 seconds left and 8 points of health to his name, he has to fall away and save this one.
Counter-terrorists win.
Dignitas. They're winning 9-0 right now. Error. Manages to save that AWP, does give them something to work with in this one, but this time they don't have the economy to go for a full investment. This is almost certainly going to be a comfortable 10th here for Dignitas, unless some of these players pull out a masterclass. We have seen GamerLegion hit some crazy 1-digs, especially Rusty. He's kind of a player that sticks in my mind that seriously is just a cracked aimer. He just hits these crispy shots time and time again. Often on these anti-eco rounds, the man that tips it in his team's favor. Unfortunately for him, this time round, he's taken some preliminary damage, already down to 43 points of health. And with a minute left on this clock, GamerLegion looking like they might go 10-1 down here on their own map pick. This is just dire straits. And mentally, I think it's just so difficult to come back into something like this. They'll have an opportunity, a little bit of a swing round in the next, where they'll have some guns to work with, and they'll have an opportunity to try and claw it back to a 10-5. That would be a really acceptable scoreline. But if they can't do so, I don't know what the answer is for them. Eagles push on to the site, do some early damage, but Forest's there. Trades 1 for 1. Zero able to pick up the pieces of that one. There's another headshot coming through. This is going incredibly well here for GamerLegion, but error with that AWP. In fact, it's Dobbo that's managed to pick it up. Can't quite connect the shot. His teammate drops, he follows suit, and Dignitas put themselves on to 10. Remember, that was a 3v3 just a few seconds ago, and it all slipped away very, very quickly. AK's in hand here for GamerLegion as they push into connector. Forest there with the M4. Goes for the wide swing and he actually converts. No trade potentials. Finally, Adam actually connects the headshot. Forest, I think, got a little bit greedy there. Actually lands another dink, though. And that's the sort of impact that he has, okay? Goes for that early swing. Finds the first man, spots out two. Not only has he got the information, he's got the first kill. He has an option there to just fall back, take the man advantage. Instead goes for a second and gets the dink. Holzerk with another onto the toilets area. And this is pretty much said and done. Again, massive HP advantage, man advantage to work with. Stacked towards the B site. GamerLegion bursting through. Harry does get caught off guard with the man darting through the smoke. But right now, GamerLegion in a full buy round, praying to get this C4 planted. Just about able to do so, but it's no round. Does give them a little bit of cash to work with, and with the loss bonus, they will have enough to actually go for a buy here. I don't think there'll be an AWP. Unless Adam goes glass cannon, but I think that's very, very unlikely. And GamerLegion, they are going to call a timeout. Maybe a little bit overdue here. I'm really not sure what you say at this point. I'd hate to be in Adam's shoes right now, where you're trying to motivate a team that are just getting completely wrecked by a side that are just of another caliber. Frankly, though, Dignitas are just playing out of their minds today. Yeah, this is like a seriously strong performance. We saw Dignitas as one of the invite teams, admittedly slightly different roster, but we saw Dignitas as one of the invite teams coming into those 9-5 cups in the later portion of last year, and they were not playing like this. They were not playing like this at all. Right now, these guys are looking like a top-level team. If they can keep this up, if this is just down to some practice that they've done over Christmas, then I am very, very excited for the future of this roster, because these guys are looking like their old selves again. And Holzerk, quick peek towards connector. Despite the fact that he's walked into 3 players, he's able to just get a one and done. Actually connects a little bit of a collab there as well. Connects onto Dobbo's leg through his teammate, so gets him down to 15 points of health. He can fall away. Freiburg follows up, and bish bash bosh, 2-man advantage. 20 seconds gone in the round, and they've already got that 2-man advantage on a full buy round. GamerLegion, this is a full investment. They've got AKs, they've got util. And before they even get to the starting line, before the get-go, they're pretty much out of it. Major advantage here for Dignitas to take this one to 12. We're shaping up to see a 14-1 right now, and Heap, he is just on fire, straight through the wood. The headshot connects. I think he might have just seen the slither of the barrel, and there we go. A secondary for him. Leaves it all down to 0, a 1-on-4. Realistically, any other time he'd go for a save right now, but there's no point in saving. There just isn't. You might as well see what damage he can do. Get this map over and done with. See if you can mentally reset moving into the net. They are just being absolutely wrecked right now. And I think what's a really good indicator as well is the fact that Dignitas have very few deaths on some of these players. Freiburg setting 16-4 right here. I mean, it's just unreal. Absolutely unreal. 12-1. I often talk about in Counter-Strike that break-even point. Or not really it's not the break-even point. This more applies to the point where it's too far gone, yeah? In a half, you always see a 10-5 and you think, oh, it's super one-sided, but it's recoverable. Yeah? The teams will be able to bring it back on the next side. Or you see an 11-4 and sometimes they'll come back. But the 12-3 scoreline always seems to be where it's just a little bit too far gone. There isn't enough rounds to play with on that CT side. Even for a side like GamerLegion, who massively favor their defensive turf, for them to come back into it. The Tech-9 are able to find the first onto the AWP, but Freiburg with 2 keeps it honest. Tech-9 still spamming through for more damage, but Forest finds another. Error gets this C4 planted, but with a slither of health left to play with, has to try and poke his arms out to grab one of these guns that are on the floor. Somehow still alive, but finally drops. And Dignitas, considering they were just against the Tech-9s, it was a little bit too close for comfort. I think Holzerk was definitely caught off guard by the mobility and the speed that came in from GamerLegion there. What's been working out so nicely for them is when he is playing this solo defense on the A site, he feels for the information with the AWP and then calls for the rotations. Whereas when he has 5 Tech 9s charging at him, if he doesn't connect those early shots at close range, then that's pretty much it. The site gets overwhelmed. And that's exactly what happened there. But once again, on the retake, Dignitas, they deal with it nicely. 13-1. Last round of the half, round number 15, Dignitas look to make it 14-1 as GamerLegion pull out the bottom of the barrel, everything that they can. They went for the eco in the last, so they've got money here to work with. And Rusty, once again, he's normally a massively impactful player, and every single round he just seems to get punched in the face, just beaten down, straight off the bat on the cross. The leg connects onto him, and he's just down and out of this one already. Nice opener from Adam Neb, instantly traded by Heap. He is just on another level right here on this B-bomb site today. A 4 versus 4. GamerLegion take this C4 back towards the B-bomb site. There's still 2 defenders ready and waiting. Heap with his rifle in hand. The AK dancing around. The Molotov's rain. He's on fire right now and he's burning, but as he stands in the flames, oh, he runs back through it. That's a huge mistake and it does cost him his life. But in the meantime, his teammates have rotated to support. Rusty has taken this A site, though, so they've got something to work with here. GamerLegion in a prime position to actually take this round. Rusty's been on 17 points of health throughout the entirety of this one. The issue is that Rusty's taken the control, but the bomb hasn't rotated. It has plenty of time to do so, but if it pushes through short and Holzerk's watching, they are going to be punished. Posted on the angle, there's the 1D. Can't connect with the second. But a major advantage right now, and as Rusty's been taken out from the back lines on the rotation, Dignitas 2v1, Dobbo, C4 in hand, is going to head towards this B site. He's making a lot of noise, but I don't think Harry's close enough to hear it, so the footsteps won't be relayed. That's why we don't see Freiburg rotating yet, despite the fact there's 15 seconds on this clock. The rotation will only come through once this C4 goes down, but Dobbo planting in the open. Oh, this could cost him. Not going to quite cost him for now, but as he's right out in the open, makes the step. That's definitely going to have been heard from Harry. They now know his position. They know he's in water beneath the site, and they can just play this one together. Dobbo has a feeling that one's heaven or one's short, and he's completely wrong. Flash rings over the top, now knows they're graffiti, but it's too late. They're too close, and there's 2 of them to contend with. Freiburg puts the final nail in the coffin, and that's going to be a 14-1 from Dignitas. Absolutely unbelievable stuff. A perfect showcase of Counter-Strike. I mean, we could have been on for a 16-0 right here. GamerLegion, they are being crushed right now. And as I say, I just don't know how you mentally reset going into map number 2 if this is how you're being treated on one of your strongest maps in the pool. Second half pistol. This is where Dignitas could just deal that final fatal blow to finish this one off. GamerLegion going for a really funky strat right now. Fully stacked up in B short and connector, hoping they can get this one done, and it's been completely read by Dignitas. Oh, this has been perfectly read. This is a complete counter strat. They've actually Molotoved short. They've locked GamerLegion into the water position. Now they can just walk straight onto the site, get the bomb planted, and take the gunfights as they come. Close range with the Glocks. Holzerk doing the damage. Heap still here to do more. And Freiburg. Oh, this is just unbelievable. This is perfect from Dignitas. They've been doing their homework, and they are just having fun right now on the server. What a ridiculous pistol round. GamerLegion, they go for something funky. To be honest, considering the scoreline, I thought it was an on-the-fly strat, but it obviously wasn't. It's something that they do on their CT pistol rounds, and Dignitas have said, do you know what? We don't have a lot of success on our pistol rounds here on Overpass. Let's see what they do, and let's try and counter-strat it. And they do so absolutely flawlessly. They literally have a set-up Molotov to lock the CTs in short so that they can't come out. Awesome, awesome stuff. I'm not even sure who's coaching right now for Dignitas, but whoever is, kudos to that man. Let's have a look. Let's have a real quick look before this game's over and done with and it's too late. Vendetta. Okay, nobody other. Vendetta's coaching. I should have known, to be fair. Adam right now with this MP9 does find the first opener. Freiberg does drop. But with these rifles in hand, he's just completely isolated right now. He needs some support, and the best he can do is just swing out and try and do as much damage as he can. 1-for-1 trade goes the way of Forest, as Era is able to take one more down to the grave with him. So a 3 versus 3, fairly successful round from GamerLegion, but as they come in the back, they think that they've got this flank on fleek, and Forest is ready and waiting for it. That's something that Dignitas have been doing brilliantly as well here. Even when GamerLegion think they've got the upper hand, they've taken some control, they've got a flank in play, they think there's an opportunity for them to cause an upset, there's always a man watching the back lines to punish it. Absolutely perfect. Rusty with this Deagle looking to land a headshot. Can't quite do so. All comes down to Gobbo from behind. And he spams a wait for one. But as he takes the tickle of damage, they know exactly where he is. And they're not even going to entertain the idea of going to the site. They want to finish him off and finish this one in a 16-1 fashion. One of the more one-sided games, or one of the most one-sided games I've seen in quite a while. But Dignitas, they snatch it away, and they snatch it away with style. We're going to be going to a quick break, and we'll be right back with you with map number 2. So don't go too far, folks. And welcome back, folks. Here we go. Map number 2, GamerLegion. Starting off on this CT side of Nuke. This is Dignitas' pick, and if last map was anything to go by, I think we might be in for a bit of a ride here. Heat getting aggressive towards ramp, and look at this. It's just an absolute bloodbath. No respect, no time taken to set up, just bursting right through and using all of the firepower that they carry. This side is on fire right now, and there's no stopping them. 5 versus 2. The C4 will go down quite comfortably. 0 only good for 1, and quite frankly, that might be the only kill of the round. Error can't even connect onto the low HP player, and he will get flanked from behind. Does actually find himself one more. Brings this into a 3-on-1. It's doable, especially with the kit in hand. Certainly not probable, and Dignitas, they've taken a step back. They're going to stop pushing right into him. They're going to play this one a little bit slower and allow Forest to do the heavy lifting. 1 round on the board here for Dignitas, a very, very convincing one to kick things off here on Nuke. And frankly, if Dignitas get off to a really good start here on their T side, I think there's really a lot to be said for it. Remember, this is their own map pick. The T side of Nuke, very, very undesirable. CT side's heavily favored here on this map. GamerLegion. They've had like a 5-minute break between getting wrecked 16-1 on their own map pick to then going into their opponent's pick of Nuke. It's one that GamerLegion historically have been doing quite well on, actually, in recent matches and things like that. They've been doing decently well. They've taken some maps off of some pretty good teams. Yeah, Sangle, the Dice, really close game against Windstrike the other day. Nothing close to the caliber of Dignitas, though. Right now, trying to get a little bit aggressive. Dignitas giving a little bit more respect in this one. No crazy Glock rushes towards ramp. Instead, much slower stuff. Mac 10 trades out to the Galil. Very, very nice early 1D from Dobber to put things off. But 0, he gets eliminated. The advanced position in the hut doesn't pay any dividends, and it comes right back into a 4-on-4. Minute left on this clock, and they're continuing to fire through with these Galils. Another shot converts. Error and Rusty doing some serious damage, but as it's traded right back out, Freibo can deploy the Molotov. That eliminates the threat towards Heaven. They can get this C4 planted, and GamerLegion, they have to wrap all the way back around. Error waits out for the Molotov. Scout available. And Dobbo actually going to wrap back around. They're going to go for this double-pronged attack. Push right in from Heaven. See what they can do. Head pokes over. That confirms the position of Freiberg right now, but they still have to find the frag onto him. Dobbo converts the headshot, but with not enough time on this C4, he's got no kit. He needs to speed this one up, needs to find the kill, and Harry knows it. He's low HP, but he's just going to stick around, wait for the bomb to tap, then he can make his way around towards the squeaky door. He knows there's no way Dobbo's holding it, and despite the fact that he doesn't win the engagement, there's no time to defuse. Dobbo has to fall away. He does save the Galil, he does find himself 3 kills. They are going to be some feel-good frags that maybe moving forward, GamerLegion will have a little bit more confidence. Remember, they kind of just got wrecked in the early rounds of Overpass, so to keep that second round so close does mean that they have a little bit to work with, but they do still lose the round. Dignitas get off to a good start, 2-0. A little bit close for comfort, but they'll be glad they came out on top. And GamerLegion effectively eating a full eco around this Galil that was saved. A couple of Deagles come out. Other than that, no Kevlar, no Util. It should be a potentially sweet hit from Dignitas. A flawless round is what they're looking for, and a flawless round is what they might find. Mac 10 flies right out. He finds the first, and realistically, it's about damage control here from GamerLegion. They don't want to just be mowed down by Mac 10s. There's so many SMGs in play here for Dignitas, and remember, they get $600 a pop for every single kill they find with it. Ozark with a P90 in hand. One of the first times I've seen that weapon in a very long time. I'm surprised that he's come for that investment. Maybe he just likes it. Maybe it shows a little bit of BM, a little bit of confidence here on the Dignitas side. I'd certainly have some if I just won my opponent's map pick 16-1, and there we go. There's the P90 firing through. And GamerLegion, as I said before, they want to try and hold on to this Galil and Kevlar, bring that one into the next at the very least. But realistically, these Deagles, despite the fact that they've got no Kevlar, there's not really a lot to save here. They don't want to just be mowed down by the Mac 10s. They want to try and do some exit damage, and there we go, Rusty. 2 1Ds, potentially a third to be found. Forest does fall right away, but look at that. AK picked up right at the end there from Rusty. Nice little prize for him. Get 2 1Ds, you win yourself a prize. That should be a fairground ride. Dignitas, though, get off to a very, very good start indeed. 3-0. They are going to go for a bit of a bonus here. It doesn't look like Holzerk or Heap are actually going to reinvest into the rifles, so we are going to see 3 rifles come out. Freiburg down to that Galil. 2 SMGs in play for the others, as GamerLegion have all the tools to work with. Rifles all round. Rusty with the AK, sorry. Very, very dangerous man to have that one-hit headshot potential. An error with his favorite AWP. Oh, look at that start. Just straight into the head. Rusty on the ladder. No one's expecting that one. He catches Holzerk with his pants down. Knife out, not suspecting. That's a pretty big play. You're super inaccurate on that ladder, but if players are just going to run at you close range with their knives out, then I suppose it doesn't make any difference. It's interesting. It works out nicely. GamerLegion with a man advantage for what seems like the first time in quite a while. Good opportunity to take this fourth. Bit of a swing round. Opportunity to flip this one on its head. Close this initial gap that Dignitas have established. Major firepower advantage right now. Loads of util to work with. And Dignitas are a little bit out of options. They reconvene. Try and hit onto this big bomb site. They've got no control of it whatsoever, though. And as Adam swings out from the hollow bed, there's the shot that he needed. Follows up with one through the smoke. Finally traded, but he's done his job. In fact, he's exceeded what was required of him. And Forrest left in a 1-on-3. Nade does go down, does a tickle of damage. In fact, I don't actually think that connected for anything. Molotov will keep Rusty at bay, but with 24 seconds on this clock, despite the fact that he's got this C4 on his back, I don't think there's any opportunity to get it planted. By the looks of things, he is actually still going to try and press onto this A site. If he finds a kill onto Error, there's an opportunity, but no. The window, the door, it's closed, and Error's the one to do so. GamerLegion put their first on the board. We did see something similar on Overpass. I think it was round number 5 where GamerLegion pulled one back, and that was the only round that we saw them win throughout the entire map. However, that one just seemed a little bit more convincing. They carried across these weapons. They've got that AWP, plenty of rifles to work with. Rusty still with that AK. And Dignitas, despite the fact that they went for a bonus, here in the 5th, they actually don't have a lot of cash to work with. 3 AKs come out. 2 players demoted down to those pistols. No helmets on Freiburg and Harry either, so they're actually very, very vulnerable right now. I think Harry spotted out someone outside. I think that's Zero. The AWP not actually playing there. Oh, no, it is. It is. Okay, it's Error on that AWP. Posted towards Garage. The smokes are going to eliminate his sightline, though, so he has to wrap around towards the container. And that does give Dignitas a lot of leg room to work with. They can take this outside control. They can work their way down secret. The issue is that GamerLegion are fully wise to this. They've already started these rotations. Rusty just jump spotting with this nade. As soon as he sees a man, he's going to deploy it, and it will do some serious damage. Especially considering they're all clumped up. Just needs to make sure that he can release it. There we go. Spots out the first head. Not actually going to deploy the nade. Instead, pulls out the rifle. Knows that he needs to take some gunfights. And he only trades 1-for-1. M4 and Gobbo needs to do some heavy lifting. And he only does the same. Adam with another in the meantime does give them a man advantage to work with. But now it's the 2 rifles still floating. Freiburg and Heap looking to try and pick up the pieces of this fallen round. 35 seconds left on the clock. Error made his way down to ramp with that AWP, and Adam, I'm not sure if he spotted out a man there, whether his spidey senses are just tingling that maybe they're pushing this way. He's absolutely right. And as they creep around this corner, they need to make sure they hard clear it. There we go. They do so. Freiburg with the headshot. It's perfect. Brings the numbers level pegging once again, but time pressure's a massive factor. And Error's crispy with the AWP today. Hits the cross shot. Can't quite connect onto the second. It gives Heap an open door of opportunity to grab this C4, get it planted. But as he's being flanked from Zero, has to pull out the AK, fight from both angles. And despite the masses of damage dealt, he can't convert the round. Freiburg with a 3K, but it's just not enough for Dignitas and GamerLegion. They've already exceeded their round count from Overpass as they take 2. And more than likely 3 here as well. They'll be allowed a bit of a freebie. Dignitas have to drop down to an eco here. They really can't afford to buy anything. Maybe a couple of pistols come out. I think that would be the absolute most, especially with no loss bonus racked up. So a much better start here from GamerLegion. Of course, I wasn't expecting this to just be another complete whitewash. Very unlikely, or very, very rarely do you actually see back-to-back games in a series just go so heavily one-sided. But GamerLegion, they do look like they've reset. That little break did them some favors. I'm not sure what was said, but I'd like to know, because They're just looking like a different team here on Nuke. Finding that opening pick. Looking like they should quite comfortably be able to make this 1-3. And if they can keep some players alive here as well, try not to take too many casualties, it'll work wonders for their economy. Right now, it's a little bit down in the dumps. Era's really the only man with some money. But if they can take a round and not require any reinvestments in the next, then it means that every single player's got that $3,000-$4,000 cushion sitting behind them that they can fall back on if they lose the next buy-up from Dignitas. And that's exactly what it's shaping up to play out like. It's Holzerk all on his lonesome. They've not found any kills so far. A lot of damage dealt. This Deagle deadly on 2. In fact, Dobbo just outside of that threshold. If he takes a Deagle hit, he'll be sitting on single digits. But Holzek knows he's got no opportunity in this round whatsoever, and it is just about trying to find a couple of kills. Slowly but surely making his way around to ramp. There's a headshot. That's what he's looking for. Hungry for more as well, as he doesn't take too much damage from that first engagement, but can't quite convert it. Dobbo finds that final finishing blow, and GamerLegion will be able to take it 3-3. So Holzak, I mean, he does a good job at taking out one rifle, will force a reinvestment there from Adam, and it's not actually going to come out of his bank account. Someone's going to have to drop it, more than likely Error. There we go. M4 comes out. It's actually Dobbo that drops it to him. Unbalances that economy on that GamerLegion side just a little bit, but they'll be pretty comfortable right now. And Dignitas, they are going to take a timeout, and I like this. This is something that both teams were utilizing last game. As soon as they lose a couple of rounds back-to-back, they just take a break of pace. They say, right, we're either going to take a break of pace to fix what's going wrong, or actually last game, Dignitas, in the early portions, took a timeout just to kind of cool down a little bit. They were like, right, we're on fire right now. Let's not get too overconfident. Let's just maintain this composure. Make sure that we're not going for like stupid ill-advised peaks and things like that. And that's what really just allowed them to steamroll right the way through. Even towards the end, seemed like they were having a little bit of fun with it. GamerLegion right now, looking to try and make this 1-4. Break the bank of Dignitas once again. AKs to work with on every man. No AWP available here for Holzerk. Rusty needs to be careful. Gone for this vent position once again. It was spotted out last time. I'm not sure if it will work 2 in a row. Adam right now with the M4. Does find the first position now, no. Instantly traded. 0. A little bit of a whip on the site. Does convert for the 1. And we are just seeing these 1-for-1 trades coming through. But Rusty with the headshot onto Holzerk brings it all down to Forest in a 1-on-3. He's looking the complete wrong way. And Error finishes it off. Much better round once again from GamerLegion. Even with the hard hit towards the A site, with all of the util from Dignitas, they just deal with it very, very nicely. They've got all of the players in position, and they just shut it down. Just the pistols to work with here now then for Dignitas. GamerLegion could put themselves onto 5 here early on. Remember, this is the CT side of Nuke, so it's not like it's some crazy scoreline, but it's definitely much better than what we saw last time around. And even against the pistols, they just seem to be maintaining their composure quite nicely. Tech 9 fires through for one more headshot. Holzerk's around to find it, but as his teammate drops, he actually finds another headshot right through the smoke. Gets the dink onto Dobbo. Oh, that one came incredibly close. Error even going for the confidence to try and swing him from above with 8 points of health on his back. Had he have fallen there, that could have gone horribly wrong for GamerLegion, but luckily they just grasp on. And Dignitas, I actually like the fact that they dropped down to an eco there too. With that loss bonus, they could have maybe gone for something a little bit more substantial, but no, they keep the cash floating, and now they've got everything to work with. The AWP, the AKs, the full utility on every man besides Harry. He's the one going for this outside control. Throw that Molotov, make sure the smoke lands in position and nice and fast. Means they can get down secret without wasting any time whatsoever. I think that smoke might have missed ever so slightly. Maybe not. Maybe I'm completely wrong. In the meantime, though, Error does hit that AWP shot. Harry's able to dart his way down. Rusty there to try and contend it, though. We've seen him previously. He's that quick rotation. He's that player that's just kind of lingering towards the vents. And he's already just straight down to the vents, down to the B site. As soon as they lose secret control, gets a nade in hand, deploys it. Only deals a tickle of damage. They've got a two-man advantage right now, though, so in a prime position to take this one. Harry once again with this AK. And Rusty's there, posted on the angle. AUG, Adam there to swing off of his contact, and he finds the second one quite comfortably. And it leaves Heap all on his lonesome, a 1-on-5. This is about to be a flawless buy round here from GamerLegion against a full investment from Dignitas. That has got to boost your confidence. That is a feel-good round at its finest. And Dignitas, I think they'll be a little bit shaken up off of this one. They win 16-1. They go into the second map. They take a 3-0 lead. We even saw a P90 come out on Holzerk in that round. He was kind of just like, I don't want to use the word trolling. I think the P90 somewhat viable, but seems a little bit funky. He seems like one of those kind of confidence buys that you go for. He's how I'm going to buy a P90. Right now, GamerLegion, they're pulling it off 6-3. I saw some people in the chat. I don't check it during the game, but after the game, I kind of watched it back, and some people were being very mean to GamerLegion, and others, they had confidence in them. They said, no, GamerLegion, they'll come back into Nuke stronger, and they absolutely have. Molotov goes down, not quite in time, but nonetheless, Rusty's able to find two. Does take a dink, so he has to take a step back. But as he gets back onto the site, can't quite survive for too much longer. But staying alive for a few extra seconds does allow those rotations to come into fruition and Adam to do further damage. Dobbo there to find the final kill, and it puts GamerLegion on to 7. Really nice start from Rusty, and then it's recovered incredibly well from his teammates. Dignitas go for another timeout right now. Again, I'm going to commend it. Try to plug the hole before you lose too much. Couple more rounds and this could definitely spiral out of control. They're 7-3 down at the moment. Very, very recoverable at this point. If they turn it around here, they could definitely still take it. 8-7 in their favor. I think they'd even be happy with a 9-6 at this point. They lose a couple more, that's where it starts to become problematic. Then you've got to play flawless Counter-Strike just to meet the minimum benchmark. They've been shaken up and they just need a few seconds to regain composure. GamerLegion right now, they're on fire and they've got tons of cash too. Even if Dignitas bounce back right now and win a round, GamerLegion have got all of the money to work with that they can just whip out whatever they want. Early nades deployed. Dignitas looking to try and take some control. Not towards outside, though. This round, they opt against it. Adam, on top of this smoke, holding the squeaky door. It's blown off at the start of every single round, so it gives him a nice sight line into it. Does mean that they have to smoke it, though. Of course, it's blown off by the T side, not the CTs. Not in their interest to essentially put a hole in their defense. Dobbo right now on the ramp with the smoke in hand, deploys it at the right moment, and with a minute left on this clock, Dignitas haven't been able to take any control, and they're just being pushed further and further back. The coordinated aggression towards Squeaky Door allows Adam to just push right through. You'd think that's going to be a 1-for-1 trade, and it absolutely isn't. He converts for the double. And right now, Dignitas, once again, stuck between a rock and a hard place. 5 versus 3. As they've got the outside control, but you can't plant the bomb there. You need to get on one of the sites, and they're just struggling to do so. Harry drops to the AWP. Freiburg's still lingering, but very, very soon he'll be spotted by Rusty. As long as he doesn't get caught out by timing. And instead, Error's there to hit the AWP shot. Leaves it all down to Forest. Only saving grace is the fact that he's got the C4 on his back, but a 5 versus 1 does hit a crispy one-tap. It gives him something to work with. The Molotov deployed perfectly too. Should push the AWP back. Error instead runs right through it. Wants to try and take the shot. Very lucky to be alive. Down to 4 points of health. But with 10 seconds left to work with, Forrest has no option but to burst onto the safe site. Try and get this C4 planted. And he's unable to cross. 0 towards the squeaky door. Spams through the smoke. Denies the cross. And GamerLegion put themselves on to 8. Dignitas, it's another timeout. This is not looking good for them at all. They don't have enough money to invest into this round. We are going to see the pistols come out again. And if they don't work out... Now, remember last time they did go for the pistol buy? They did do a lot of damage. It very, very nearly worked out for them. But if this doesn't work out, it goes 9 to GamerLegion. You're looking at a best-case scenario 9-6 half here for Dignitas. And that's if they can take 3 in a row. Here we go. Pistols come out. Timeout cancelled. GamerLegion, they're just looking so much better here on Nuke. And that's just, it's really bizarre because it's not their map pick. Remember, they picked into Overpass. Nuke is Dignitas's map pick. And they don't actually mind this T-side either. They actually have a much stronger T-side. If you look at Dignitas historically on this map, they have a 63% win percentage here on this T-side. So to be getting off to such a rocky start doesn't fill me with confidence. GamerLegion holding up this A site like a rock. It's an absolutely solid defense. 0 for 2. Switches out to the Tech 9. Holzerk does some serious lifting as he finds himself 3. But it's just not enough. Error's there to trade it. Leaves it all down to Freiburg. 12 points of health. Minute 20 on this block. And he gives away his position. The AWP spotted out. An Error gets aggressive. Plays it like a shotgun. And GamerLegion are on to 9. Unbelievable. They take quite a few casualties there, but they're not going to care whatsoever. Error's already on the max cash. He's sitting at $16,000, so he's going to be wanting to drop people right now. You can't take that money to the grave with you. As soon as you move over to the second half, your bank account's back down to $800, so better get spending. 2 AKs in play here for GamerLegion too. He actually picks up an AK at the end of that round and rebuys an AWP. Just so they have that one-hit headshot potential on one of these guys. They fancy having an AK in hand, and they've got so much money they can afford to do it. Dignitas this time back towards the outside control. Didn't really work out too well for them last time around. And they can't seem to nail this smoke either. They miss it like every round. Every single time they go for it, they leave a massive gap, and it just costs them. It's a one-way game. If you can spot out the feet, it means that they can't justify going down secret. They have to instead funnel into the A main area, and they just get completely railed. Rusty there for 1, and then the rest of his teammates are just able to pick up the pieces. Forest all on his lonesome. This is going to be GamerLegion on to 10. And Dignitas with no bomb plant once again. They're not going to have any money to work with in the next. We'll probably see pistols come out again. And this is just a complete turnaround. GamerLegion really giving Dignitas a taste of their own medicine right now. I don't ever check chat while I'm casting, but I actually want to see what people are saying about this game, because this has just been a really, really awesome turnaround from GamerLegion, and not something you see very often at all. Forest has been allowed to get that bomb plant. That's a big mistake from Adam to drop. 2 versus 1 now. This is very, very doable for Forest if he can take down this AWP on Error, but no. Error's just been on fire so far on this map. He wasn't doing a lot of work over on Overpass. He seemed to be missing a lot of these crucial shots. He wasn't able to pull out that AWP in many of the rounds as well. And to be honest, he didn't get an opportunity to shine on that CT side. That's where the AWP's best utilized. On that T half, yeah, he just had a lack of opportunity. Right now, AWP on the CT side, they're not even opting for this double AWP. It's very, very viable to go for 2 AWPs here on Nuke. Despite the fact they've got the money for it, they've not gone for it at all. Error is doing all of the work with the sniper. He's putting up some serious numbers, and he's getting those impact frags, especially towards the end of the rounds, just to close it out. Dignitas, with that bomb plant and the extra kill at the end, they do actually have enough to go for an investment here. So we are going to see the rifles come out. The Galil on Harry. No AWP available, and as they funnel into ramp, this is what worked out for them on the pistol, but now they've got to face up against some fired up rifles. And Dobbo with the first headshot falls right away, untraded, unscathed, not even taking a single point of damage. Dignitas, this hasn't worked out as nicely as it did for them earlier. As they continue to press in, Dobbo, not only has he got a prime position, but he's got support from his teammates. Nades come through. He can relay all of this information. He knows that there's at least 2 players here. Little does he know there's 3, that he'd expect it. And there's the second headshot. He's more than exceeded his expectations here in this round. Adam caught off guard from the back lines from Harry. Brings it back into a 3-on-3. So somewhat in contention. But GamerLegion are in the prime positions. They've outmaneuvered their opponents. And on this B site, they've got full control. Finally, Forest is able to take it back. But as Harry gets dinked, GamerLegion, a HP advantage. And they were already hot on their heels on this retake. Smoke gets posted. Forest locked on the site. Flash comes through. That's Zero's cue to open the door and try and spam through it. I don't think he realizes that Forest is actually hugging this silo. Can't connect any of the shots through the smoke. And as the AWP peeks, Error not going to miss those ones. Hits the shot beautifully. Zero holding this defuse. And as the doors open, Zero spins around, spams away. Can't quite connect the final bullet. Only hits the one and gets Harry down to 3 points of health. Error posted on the angle, swaps out to the rifle, hits the shot through the corner of the door, and gets back on that C4 just in the nick of time. Dignitas, they kept it incredibly close. But overall, GamerLegion, they were pretty much in control the entirety of that one. They had the man advantage right up until that final 2v2 situation. And even then, the HP in their favor and the clutch go in their way. 11-3. Dignitas, once again, off the back of the bomb plant, they will go for a full investment. No AWP here on Holzer. Just the rifles come out. Heap down to the Galil once again. And this is for 4. Yeah, they are playing right now for 4 rounds. If they lose it, it goes 12-3. I said on Overpass, 12-3. Often that point where it's just a little bit too far gone. And considering they lost the pistol and they lost the first 3 rounds, it's been flawless from then on out. We've seen 11 in a row here from GamerLegion, and it's just been absolutely sensational. The Observer seems to be having a little bit of a fun time. There we go. We're back to a player. Harry made his way down secret, but once again, Rusty's here to contend with it. Another B execute. Rusty trades 1 for 1. He's been so consistent with that. Plays that position, gets the information, finds the first kill. Brings it into a 4-on-4 retake situation. GamerLegion, they've been pretty consistent with these. Nade comes over, deals a little bit of damage onto Holzer. AWP trying to fire through, hit a lucky shot through the garage doors. Remember, they're paper thin. You can do some serious damage through them. But the 1-for-1 trade's continuing to go Dignitas' way, and Freiburg steps it up. Finally wakes up, converts the 3. Adam plays it back out, brings it into a 2-on-1 situation. Taps the bomb, but takes a bullet to the head. So Dignitas put themselves onto 4. By no means is that a successful half. That has been rough. Very, very rough indeed for them. GamerLegion, they have looked incredible here on their CT side, but they have to make sure that they carry across this momentum when they get onto the attack. Losing that last round does make it somewhat doable here for Dignitas. It's 11-4. Off the back of a pistol, they could certainly make this one work. Luckily for GamerLegion, they've got a pretty solid win rate on both sides. 58% on the CT side, 54% on that T side. So it's not like they're a team that just hate playing the T side. They quite like it. People that watched last map as well, a couple of people in the chat were asking what I spilled. It was actually Coke. So it's like everything is sticky as hell. And as soon as I'm finished, everything's being washed. And I'm not sure how you wash electronics, but we're just baby wipes, I suppose. We're just going to give it my best shot. But everything right now is untouchable. It's really sad, to be honest. Nonetheless, probably not as sad as what Dignitas are going through right now. 16-1 win on their opponent's map pick. They come into Nuke. I think they were probably just a little bit overconfident. They're being wrecked right now. They come onto this CT side, desperately looking to try and win this pistol. If they don't do so, I think that's probably all over for them. I really don't see how they can come back into it without the pistol round. It's really one of their win conditions right now. Not sure what they have left in the tank. We'll have to wait and see, though. Nice configuration towards this A site. Nice opening pick from Error, though. And a second as well. The P250 firing through for 2. And as they push into this A site, this is crumbling from Dignitas. This is such fantastic Counter-Strike from GamerLegion. Heap, the USP, can't quite connect. Spammed away for a second, can't do so. The C4 goes down with the B site. Nade comes in, does quite a lot of damage. USP trying to do some work, but they're just not connecting. Couple of body shots, no heads, and 0. There's one. 4v2, he's going to drop, Holzerk on his lonesome, and Rusty's in from behind. Absolutely nothing that Dignitas can do as GamerLegion snatch away the pistol, snatch away that win condition. It's very much looking like we're going to a third and final map. And what's interesting about this third and final map is that it's actually Inferno, which, statistically speaking, is GamerLegion's best map, or joint best map, I suppose, with Train. And it's, besides their permaban of Mirage, it's Dignitas' worst. Now, as I say, caliber context is important here. Dignitas have lost matches in this, in CS Summit and Flashpoint and things like that. Some really high-tier teams. But they did lose it against Sinners just a couple of weeks ago. They're a team that you'd expect Dignitas to be beating. And, yeah, GamerLegion have been pretty on fire with it, taking some good wins there too. So that's going to be a really interesting third if it comes to it, and one that GamerLegion could definitely win, especially with the momentum that they can carry across from this map. Forest doing a lot of damage outside, no kills though, despite the fact that he's tagged up 3 players incredibly low. Holzer converting a little bit of damage with that scout as well, but no kills found. GamerLegion have to be very careful right now, especially considering they're up against a 4-spy. 3 of these players are, well, 1-hit potential to all of these deagles, to the scout. And as the trade comes through, comes back into a 4-on-4. This is that caution I was talking about that they need to take. With 50 seconds left on this clock, I think they're going to hit this A site. With the automatic weapons and the range advantage, they should be able to come out on top. And there we go. Headshot comes through for 0. Can't convert onto the second into Freiburg. Freiburg drops down. Lots of damage dealt, but only the 1-for-1 trade. Holzerk with another shot converting. It leaves it all down to Rusty. This round's gone incredibly well for Dignitas, but it's a very durable clutch for Rusty, especially considering Holzerk's been caught with his pants down. The issue is Rusty not expecting the man coming in from heaven. Bit of a whiff there from Heap as he spams the deagle shots, only connects to 1. Rusty down to 18 points of health, deals damage of his own, and he's managed to retrieve this C4 and head down to B. Both players low HP now. Rusty, 1 bullet away from death, but Heap, he's only got Deagle to work with. 43 HP. Rusty deploys the smoke. The flashbang comes over, connects perfectly. The Molotov isolate Heap's position, and Rusty can dance around the top of the smoke and find the kill. It's beautifully played. A perfect 2 versus 1 played to the T, and GamerLegion, they put themselves on to 13. They eliminate any lifeline that Dignitas might have been able to pull their way. And despite the fact that this would almost always be an eco round, Dignitas are actually going to go for the force. Off of the back of the fact that they found a lot of damage, so they did manage to get 4 kills. They know that GamerLegion's investment isn't going to be great here, and they have a little bit of extra cash to work with off of the frags that they found. And also the fact that it's just a little bit too far gone. If they eat an eco right now, it goes 14-4. There's no opportunity to come back into it. They need to turn this around right here, right now. Unfortunate nade there from Holzerk. Doesn't quite go where he wanted it to land. And had it have landed there, probably would have done a fair amount of damage. Nonetheless, outside control gained here from GamerLegion. Scout not connecting. Oh, not even connecting the second shot as the smoke dissipated. Freiburg with this MP9, able to do some damage, but only a tickle of it onto 0. But they press right through, and they find all the kills needed. A secondary headshot. Zero's been on fire with these entries. And Dobbo snatching away a pistol before the retake comes through. They are able to level out these numbers, bring it back into a 3-on-3. And they're actually onto this B bomb site in time, that they've prevented this C4 from going down initially. It's tapped by Rusty, but he can't hold it. Need to be very careful right now. They have no smoke grenades to provide them some cover. Rusty desperate to get behind the silo, just about able to do so as they trade evenly. All comes down to Holzer. This scout's deadly. Essentially becomes a more mobile AWP in this situation as he connects onto Rusty. It's the headshot as he swaps out to the MP9. Dobbo low. There's a second. And Holzerk. Oh, it's a very important clutch for him to pick up, and he manages to find it. 3 kills in the round to tip it over the top, and an AK found at the end. I think he's just trying to find some utility, maybe a fallen kit. Won't be able to do so, but here's the replay. You see both players are low HP, and Holzerk, yeah, with that scout, basically becomes an AWP with more mobility. Beautifully played, and it's unfortunate that GamerLegion can't do anything about that one. That could have been the final nail in the coffin, the beginning of the end for them to close out Nuke right now. And now they've got a little bit of a task on their hands. They're still massively in the lead. They've still got a major, major advantage. But Dignitas now have money to work with. GamerLegion are going to step back and eat an eco. There's definitely an opportunity here. There's a lifeline back here for Dignitas if they take it. They were fantastic on overpass. You could see they'd done their homework. The coordination, it was on par. It was absolutely insane. And that's exactly what they need. A flawless round. They don't take a single point of damage. That was an eco from GamerLegion. Very little invested in that one. And Eren needs to make sure that he actually continues firing on all cylinders. He's 24-7 right now. He's leading the charge on the server by a mile. But that does come down to that AWP on the CT side. Something that we didn't get to see at all on Overpass. Remember, it was 16-1. He had no opportunity to buy an AWP on the CT side. Now as he moves over to this T half, where he certainly didn't have as much success on Overpass, he needs to be careful. He needs to make sure that he does continue hitting these shots and having the same impact. And there we go, right through the smoke. Harry eliminates him. AWP comes through. Goes down, I should say. Nade goes through. Deals a little bit of further damage. Not a lot, but add him down to 70. Man advantage here for Dignitas to work with. And yeah, that major threat of the AWP eliminated once again. Dignitas, opportunity to put themselves onto 7 here. This would be a hell of a comeback if they pull it off. And would really showcase, perhaps at a higher level, a major issue with GamerLegion's T side. It can't be said for the level that they're playing at. The recent teams that they've been playing against at that kind of tier 3 scene, in the regional matchups here in the Snow Sweet Snow, in other leagues that they're participating in, they've been fantastic. But as soon as they get put against a better team, their T side just seems to be quite a bit weaker. Still the man advantage, no longer, as Rusty finds the headshot. Brings it back into a 3-on-3. Wants to try and take this C4 down to the B site. Zero's got it on his back, and as he opens the door, he wants to try and get this bomb planted. Little does he know that Heap's actually here to try and prevent it, though. And with 20 seconds on this clock, they don't have time to waste. Freiburg cuts off the rotation. Adam can't provide any support. He leaves it all down to Zero, and his goal right now is just to get that C4 planted. The clutch, very, very unlikely at this point, with 20 points of health, 3 players to contend with, and Heap's not even going to go for the swing right now. He's actually waiting for the support from his teammates. Deploys a flash, takes a little bit of damage in the meantime, but it's all just about buying some time for Harry and Freiburg to come in from the left-hand side and finish off the job, and that's exactly what they do. Fantastic round there from Dignitas. They're able to find themselves a couple of AKs. Harry even finds that AWP. I was wondering why he was filtering through M4s when there was an AK on the floor, but no, he's looking for the orb, and he's managed to grab it. So that's going to be dropped over to Holzerk. Should actually be another eco round here from GamerLegion. We'll probably see a few pistols come out. They're all at this sort of $3,500 mark. So we will actually see a half buy. We'll see some pistols. We'll see some Kevlar. Maybe even a little bit of util. Round definitely somewhat in contention. And there is a real opportunity for GamerLegion to at least do some serious damage here on the 21st. You see error though. Not investing anything more than the P250 and the smoke. Needs to make sure that he has that extra cash to go for that AWP in the next. And all of the team going towards outside. Adam, the only man, feeling around towards that ramp control. And Eren needed to buy that smoke to go for this wall outside. Gives them safe passageway across the secret. Forrest could spam through right now and do some serious damage. Instead opts against it. Freiburg's already down by secret, ready to contend with this as they come through. They've got all the rifles to work with. They've got plenty of util to contend here too. And as he's got a nade in hand, as soon as he spots a player out, he can deploy it and do some serious damage. Boost over the top, Rusty spots it. Freiburg deploys the nade, goes towards the other doors, ready with the AK to spam away, but he gets a deagle bullet straight to the head. GamerLegion at the very least can actually get a bomb plant here, and with a man advantage and a retrievable rifle, they could take this one over the top. Adam especially, finding him 2 more. This is very doable for GamerLegion right now. They just need to make sure they hold on to this. Retake coming through, a lot of damage dealt, and only 1 rifle retrieved. And Harry with another headshot brings it back into a 2-on-2. This is looking increasingly unlikely here for GamerLegion, but with Dobbo firing on with the AK, it comes all down to Harry. Despite the fact that Rusty's only got a deagle, they've got a perfect crossfire in place. And in order to find Rusty, he's got to swing into Dobbo's crosshair. This is so dangerous, but he finds the first, and there we go. The crossfire just flawless. There's no way he can win that situation unless Dobbo whiffs. And, well, Dobbo doesn't whiff those. Big headshot from the youngster, and it puts GamerLegion back on the board here and cuts off that little comeback that Dignitas was starting to pull. They do still have money to go for another full investment here. Everybody can buy except Forrest. He'll probably drop down to that. Well, we'll either see him on a FAMAS. Maybe we see him pull out an MP9. Either way, GamerLegion's still very, very close to closing this one out. And I never want to name and shame, but Heap, he's not having a big impact on this game at all. 5 to 16 right now. Really, really struggling here on Nuke. And when you've got a player just putting up a really weak performance like that, it does really cost you. Timeout cancelled. We're right back into the action. This is really the last chance here for Dignitas. Right bottom of the barrel investment. If they lose this round, they'll have no money to work with in the next. They won't even have a loss bonus, considering they've won 3 in a row. So they will quite literally be down to $1,500 in the bank. GamerLegion will almost certainly be able to close. So this could be the final blow dealt if GamerLegion can come out on top. This is really the last hurdle. They just have to leap it. And they will have pulled off what I think many, many people would have considered as maybe not impossible, but very, very improbable. Dignitas, sturdy defense towards this A site. Holzek not actually opting to play outside, instead getting aggressive in hut, trying to take the jewel with the counter sniper on Error, and there we go. First kill. Doesn't go onto Error, does actually find Dobbo instead, but it gives them a man advantage to work with. As they decide to press on towards ramp, Error, the entry fragger with the sniper in hand, Zero there to provide the support. They need to clear this hard left angle, but as Heat firing through, 2 quick headshots. I talked about the lack of impact that he was having. It's almost as if he heard me. 2 big kills swing the round in his team's favor, and all of a sudden GamerLegion looking like they are in a tricky situation. That AWP shot actually connected onto Adam through the wall. That is unreal from Holzerg. Only did a tiny bit of damage. But what a weird shot. Through a metal wall that's completely unwallbangable. That is very, very odd. Either way, swiftly moving on. It just comes down to Adam right now. In a 1v4, realistically looking to just try and get the C4 down, I suppose. Give his team a little bit of extra cash to work with. And next, have some money. And they want to try and take away some rifles here from Dignitas too. He's only able to find 1, but considering the situation he was in, that's not too bad. Dignitas, they stay alive. As I said, that was a must-win round for them. One of those win conditions. Lifeline rounds that they needed to win, and they do so quite nicely. It was actually going to force GamerLegion right down to a full eco. So Dignitas, they're not back in this one yet. I don't think this game is really in contention at this point. But if they win the next buy round, it certainly will be. Remember, it's 14-8 right now. They should be able to just clean up this eco. That goes 14-9. If they win the next buy round, it goes 14-10. But then they'll be allowed another freebie, so it gets 14-11. And all of a sudden, that's a pretty close scoreline that they could certainly come back from. Nice opening headshot from Adam right there. Maybe I counted them out a little bit too soon with these deagles. As the flash goes across, Holzer can't connect the shot. He takes a dink in the meantime. Has to take a step back, and it's looking like GamerLegion might actually be able to get this C4 planted. He's spamming through the wall. Can't quite connect. He's missing by a millimeter on every single man. In GamerLegion, they've taken quite a lot of control, and they've dealt a lot of damage. Admittedly, they've taken a lot in the meantime, but at least they've got something to work with in a round that realistically they had no equity in. Adam, the only man on full HP, is the man that goes and retrieves that fallen rifle. And as he does some damage onto Harry, does take an MP9 blow to the head. No Kevlar, no helmet, remember? So it is a deadly blow. Man advantage here for Dignitas. Two players incredibly low on health though. They need to be very, very careful here. And as Forrest goes for the swing towards ramp, it looks like he is able to pick up the pieces quite nicely. Dobbo can't convert onto the body of Harry. So despite all of the damage taken, and you can see from Dignitas, there are 3 players on a slither of health there. They actually keep 4 guys alive. So that's a really successful round from them. Definitely a little bit too close for comfort. Could have gone horribly wrong. But I think they're quite happy that it didn't. GamerLegion now, full investment. Besides the fact that they don't have that AWP, and Error and Zero lacking on the util side a little. Early aggression here from Dignitas 2. Outside Forest, advanced position. We've seen him get aggressive and outside a few times. Not as close as this, and Rusty anticipates it nicely. Not sure whether he heard the steps or whether he just thought, let's close to you for right now. He has to be getting aggressive. Either way, beautiful read. Nice spam through the smoke from Freiburg. Does get Zero down to 2 points of health, but unable to trade out the frag. And he won't know how much damage he's dealt either. So they're not going to know that Zero's on two points of health. It's just something that they have to work with. And a little bit of overkill there from Holzerk. Headshot with the AWP. Dealing about 400 points of damage more than he needed to. A 4v4 on this B site. And this could be the finisher from GamerLegion. AKs to work with, flashbangs, Molotovs. No smokes, but those Molotovs can clear out these hard to clear positions. If they drop one behind the box in the corner, makes it very tricky to contend with. And Heap, I'm not sure how he'd be able to fight his way out of that one. He'd be heavily relying on Harry to provide some support on the crossfire. The issue is this clock. It's ticking down lower and lower. Keep an eye on it. 30 seconds left to play with, and GamerLegion need to speed this one up. They need to make a decision. Do they want to hit this B site that realistically they have very little control of, and they don't know how many players are posted? Or do they want to try and take a new approach, head over round to A, similar situation, but maybe a fresh opportunity? And there we go. Molotov comes in. Oh my goodness, he actually finds 2 before he drops. That shouldn't have been allowed. The flashbang, I think, prevented the visuals there taken out. It does come back into a 2-on-2, but with Rusty dealing the headshot, they've not got time on the C4. Holzerk's gone for the swing and denied the plant. I didn't even see it happen. Rusty, he's found 4 kills in the round, but it's not enough. Unbelievable. Literally comes down to the wire. And Dignitas somehow come out on top. That's such a ridiculous round. GamerLegion left that one far too late. I understand it. I understand they were just holding, hoping that someone from Dignitas would peek. But they had control of those comms areas on the B site for ages. And they just sat there, sitting like ducks for a good 30 seconds. They didn't get anything. Then they pushed through too late, and they got timed out by the clock. Going for the force by rush doesn't work out whatsoever for them there in the 26th. They just get completely mown down, and there we go. That's that aforementioned comeback from Dignitas. Remember, this was an 11-4 half, followed through by a pistol round and a follow-up, so it was 13-4. Now 14-11. Buy round should come out here. In fact, the buy round will almost certainly come out here from GamerLegion. They won't have enough money to go for that AWP unless Dobbo drops it. But that means he'll have no util to work with and no helmet. So I think we might actually see a 5 AK configuration. Era hasn't been having massive impact with that AWP on this T side anyway, so no real surprise he drops down to the rifle. But if they lose this gun round, that's Dignitas onto 12, GamerLegion back down to no money, and we could be looking at 14-13 scoreline very, very easily. GamerLegion need to be very careful right now. They've had a couple of incredibly close rounds. That last one almost certainly should have gone their way. This could be 15-10 right now, and instead, they're playing a very, very dangerous game. Walking the plank. Walking a tightrope, in fact. They just need to get to the other side, and there we go. Big opening pick. Holzerk over-aggressing a little bit, and the support unable to trade for now. He's with his AK posted on the angle. They know that there should be someone else in an advanced position, because the AWP would never just get that aggressive on his own. And whilst he's able to find one, there's no way he's falling back from that one alive. He will get traded by 0, and it does come into a 4-on-3, favoring GamerLegion right now. Minute 10 on this clock, and well, they've got full control of ramp right now, so why they're re-aggressing towards Squeaky? It's a dangerous game, and Harry's got the angle. Does find the first, instantly traded though. Dobbo's hit a couple of nice shots this round, but it's gone right back the other way. Forrest and Freiburg one apiece, and it leads it all down to Dobbo. He's found 2, he's looking for 4 to finish this one off, and the smoke provides him a little bit of cover, creeps through it onto Freiburg, who's looking the wrong way. Very easily could catch him off guard here, just needs to walk right through, and we see it from the top angle. As this smoke starts to dissipate, this becomes increasingly unlikely, but it's a smart play. It might work out for him, but no. Freiburg, as soon as the smoke dissipates, he looks to his left, and he's able to clear it out. Dobbo, no opportunity there. He was out of options. And with 30 seconds on the clock, didn't have a lot of time to work with either. We are actually going to see another buy come out here from GamerLegion. This is a dangerous game to be playing. They didn't get a C4 planted, so it means that they actually don't have that extra bonus cash. We see Adam down to this Mac 10, Rusty on the Galil, Rifles on the rest, not a lot of util, and the issue is there's not a lot of offensive utility. We see 2 Molotovs, a single HE. They're really relying on firepower. The smokes and the flashes right now, and as they burst right into the A site, initial 1-for-1 engagement. Holzerk's here to support, drops right down, gets into the action, gets his hands dirty, and connects for 2. Forrest there to pick up the pieces with 2 of his own. And Dignitas, they are right back in this one. 6-round streak. Once again, no bomb plant for GamerLegion, despite the fast A play. This is such an unbelievable comeback, and this is crushing for GamerLegion. They don't want to invest once again. They don't want to make the same mistake that they did in the last, but by dropping down to these pistols, unless they make it work, this scoreline evens out 14-14. At this point, I anticipate overtime, but Dignitas could even pull this one off in regulation. GamerLegion, they've had so many opportunities, and they've just been unable to put themselves onto map point. Many people predicted a 2-0. I don't think anyone predicted it like this. Flashes come through. Freiburg on top of the hut. Finds one. A lot of damage onto the others. And Harry's there to spam away. The Molotov perfect. And Rusty just with the Tech 9. Can't do anything from behind. Forrest puts the final blow in his head. And that is a near flawless round from Dignitas. They take 1 casualty. And GamerLegion, no surprise here, they're going to call a timeout. This half has gone horrendous for them. What a turnaround. This has quite frankly been insane. And there's the odds from our partners over at Gandom. Heavily favouring Dignitas once again. We saw it at the first map. The last time we saw those odds, they were heavily favouring Dignitas. We've seen an absolute roller coaster since then. But now we're back to where we started. GamerLegion, a must-win round. If they lose it, they'll have very little money to work with in the next. They do have this max loss bonus, so it's not like they're going to be sitting on $1,500 or anything ridiculous like that. They will have cash to work with, but realistically, they want all the tools. They want the AWP. They want those AKs to work with. Error, it's the first time he's actually pulled it out in a fair few rounds, and I want to see what he does with it. Nice initial nade. Get 0 and Adam down to low health off the bat, and as he continues to spam through this smoke, Forrest very nearly could have done some serious damage there. Doesn't actually connect any of those shots. And with those wall of smokes posted, GamerLegion have a safe passageway down to Secret. All comes down to how Dignitas respond right now. And Harry is already rotated. This jump spot, something we see more and more often. Use the door frame to make sure that your head doesn't stay showing for too long. Boost coming over the top. But the Molotov, oh, it's absolutely perfect. The incendiary deployed right at the right moment. Forces GamerLegion back a little bit, gives them a few extra seconds to get some rotations in. Flash deployed. This is being played perfectly from Harry right now. They do know that he's on this position, though, and if the boost comes over, does a tickle of damage, but Harry will be more than happy. And he breaks the door. They're not expecting him to be here. Rusty still hits the headshot nonetheless. The snappy response. An error with the AWP converts. This retake, it's going horribly wrong for Dignitas right now. This is starting to fall apart with 45 seconds left. What can they do here? They don't have a lot of money to work with either. I think this is just going to be the save call. It absolutely will be. They're playing for overtime. Wouldn't this be crazy right now if GamerLegion can flip this on its head and take it 16-14 after this crazy turn of events? This was much better. Not getting overzealous towards B. Playing together, hitting the shots, error, converting a very, very snappy flick with that AWP. And finally, GamerLegion onto map point. I think that's going to be a lot of weight off of their shoulders. They're not in the clear yet, but at least they know that even if they lose this next round, they've still got a few more to play with. Whereas had they have lost this round, the pressure starts to mount. The heart rate gets racing. It's overtime or bust here for Dignitas. This could be the final round we see here on Nuke. Or it could go Dignitas' way, and we get to see more. AWP on both sides. Holzerk in error. It's been a battle of the Titans throughout this entire series. Mainly here on Nuke, though. And Adam trying to get aggressive outside the door. Actually sitting in the smoke. Harry posted on it, making sure none of them get through the vents. And the flash actually hits him. It means that Adam knows exactly where he is. He goes for the free fire, but he can't convert. Harry's still doing further damage. Forrest there to support. And 2 headshots come through. Harry with another. And this is all falling apart for GamerLegion. It comes down to Error's shoulders. He connects the first, flicks onto the second, but can't quite hit the shot. And here's the replay. Absolute bloodbath. A really messy round from GamerLegion. Considering how much success they had playing it slower towards B last round, I'm surprised that they burst into another fast A play that hasn't worked out for them at all so far this map. It's unfortunate it doesn't go their way, and we're going to overtime, ladies and gentlemen. Opportunity for Dignitas to take this in a 2-0 fashion, but an opportunity for GamerLegion to pull it right back. They've had a rocky ride on this T side so far. And the way that overtime works, of course, they'll be starting off on this T side for the next 3. So, realistically, if they can take 1 round here on this T side, I think they'll be pretty happy. But remember, it's overtime. Both sides are going to have all of the weapons, all of the utility. Definitely favors the CT side. We're just going to have to wait and see how it plays out. Here we go, first round of overtime, folks. Dignitas on this CT side once again. They have been on fire. They managed to pull back a 13-4 comeback. And they look to extend it further. Holzer, we haven't seen that from him at all so far this map. And as he gets aggressive, pushes right through the outside, smokes, cuts off the first man. It's only 1 man lurking too. Heat with another headshot. This is looking like a breath of fresh air from Dignitas. They've not been going for this same configuration. They try and mix it up in the overtime, and it works out quite nicely for them. Man advantage, 0 on to 4 points of health too. And Holzer's still alive and kicking towards this B site. As the Molotovs rain in, GamerLegion do get this C4 planted. No one will be there to deny it. But Holzerk already there. So whilst he can't deny the plant, sorry, this retake is going to be hot and heavy. two players posted to try and shut this one down. Flashes right through though. Obbo looking the wrong way, has to turn it, not a lot he can do. Error, they lined up for the collapse, but Harry's too quick to the trigger, and he finds himself the final as well. 0 drops, and Dignitas keep 4 players alive and have an awesome round in the 31st. Frankly, not a lot to fault there. That's brilliant. GamerLegion. Of course, on this team side as well, plenty of cash to reinvest here. This is 16k overtime, so no issue buying up right now. But Dignitas already dealing that early preliminary damage. GamerLegion looking like they want to go for some kind of A hit right now. Adam and Rusty already at that 65 HP mark. They've taken a little bit of control. They've got some leg room to work with. This smoke, oh, it's perfectly timed. Freiburg deploys it, able to spam away. There's the first damage onto the second. And oh my, Dobbo's going to walk straight into the Molotov. Rusty does claw one back, but with a minute left on this clock, 2-man disadvantage and the C4 in no man's land. I just don't see any way back in. Rusty bursting right through the vents, takes a flashbang to the face, and it leaves it all down to Error. AWP pops out the barrel, does convert the first, can't connect the second flick, and Freiburg deals the final fatal blow. 17-15 here for Dignitas, and as I say, GamerLegion realistically are just looking for one round on this T side. They have had an absolute mare on this attack. Actually, both teams have hated the T side here on Nuke, which is interesting because both teams historically don't do too bad on the T side of Nuke. So I mean, this isn't a showcase of, oh, Nuke's super CT-sided, because it's not this CT-sided. It just seems to be these two teams just heavily favoring this defense right now. They're playing it flawlessly, and GamerLegion really, really struggling on the attack. Nade comes over. There was a fair amount of damage outside. Error already down to 68 points of health. And it's looking like GamerLegion once again want to try and take some ramp control, but they've had no success with it whatsoever. Heap's been so consistent at just finding that first man and dropping off the box, finding safe passage back. Holzerk there to try and support, takes an AWP bullet to the face. They do manage to trade out Rusty and Freiburg on the rotation. This door's open. They need to try and close it. Instead, the smoke will do the job, and Freiburg needs to be careful. Turn around, my friend. Adam's behind you, and he's lurking. Timing. Oh, it's impeccable. But Adam might be a blessing in disguise. Unfortunately, one peeks through the vent, but he's still able to fire through for both. They can't quite get the third. Harry trades it out. And GamerLegion, this could be their opportunity to take that one T-sided round I was talking about. Harry pulls out his gun just in the nick of time, but the jiggle peek doesn't work out at all. Zero's too close, and he will finish him off. GamerLegion, there we go. The one T-sided round they were looking for. Dignitas need to make sure that they do the same or better to stay alive in this one. Dignitas look to try and make this one work. Of course, full buy versus full buy. Holzerk and Error still with those AWPs. And Error was actually insane. 24 kills at half-time with that AWP on that CT side. If he can have that same kind of impact, he might just be able to put this one to bed. GamerLegion have an opportunity, if they win all 3 in a row, to finish off the job right now. And as I said before, both teams had a atrocious T side, both only taking 3 rounds each. Oh, what a start though. Beautiful headshot from Holzerk gives them an opportunity to get down ramp. And Error right now kept at bay by this Molotov. The nade raining through a further Molotov to push him back. That's the thing. You deploy that first Molotov, it baits you into a false sense of security. You try and get down ramp, and you realize that they've actually just got that deeper angle. But the second Molotov, the grenade, could potentially be deadly. This time it's not, but it forces him right away. Harry, in the meantime, straight into a waiting stove, and Rusty is stuck between a rock and a hard place. 6 points of health. It takes them quite a lot to get rid of him, but finally he falls. Man disadvantage, but Era's still on 10 points of health, remember? And this C4 and the bomb site safely in Dignitas' favour. They just need to be careful of this single door. Zero pops out the feet, deals the damage onto Freiburg. Forrest is there to trade the damage, trades the kill. Era still low on health, and as Adam drops, it comes all down to him. Low HP versus low HP. 5 versus 10. Freiburg looking the wrong way, though. Needs to check his left-hand side. And Era, it's a freebie. Freiburg, what on earth are you doing? You must have had false information there. That could have been the second overtime secured so comfortably if he was just looking the right way. Maybe even just tucked his way around the other side of the silo. Big, big mistake. As I say, I think he must have had false information. There's no way you commit yourself to a 50-50 angle like that. Without it, Dignitas, they're going to call a timeout. That was a bit of a rough one. Timeout, of course, expired. Everybody's starting to step up to the plate. He still trailing a little bit. Dobbo on that CT side, falling into that bracket too. But everybody else, mid-20s. Era exceeding that 30 frag mark. As I said so many times this game, he has really, really stepped up when called upon. 17-17, and Dignitas. The minimum benchmark here is just to take one. The magic number to close it out here is 19. Both teams take one apiece. It goes to a double overtime. Aggression towards outside. Harry dancing around this red container. Dobbo in the meantime. He's actually got a secondary sniper. This is the first time we've seen it this match so far, and it kicks off nicely. Dobbo hits the shot onto Holzerk. If Dignitas lose this round, they'll be playing with their backs against the wall in the next. It'll be a must-win for them to convert it. And Dobbo still posted on the angle. He hasn't even fallen away. He's just got himself a new position. One that he hopes Dignitas won't pre-fire as they continue to press forward towards ramp. They haven't committed to it just yet as the flash is there, ready to be deployed. But with 30 seconds on this clock, Dignitas are waiting this one incredibly long. They are ticking down this time very, very low. And this is a dangerous game to be playing. They need to get an execute going, and they need to get it going now. 20 seconds left. Keep an eye on that timer. They need to hurry this one up. It's just going to be the final resort. Burst into A. See what you can do with it. 15 seconds left to play with. An error. He finds that final shot with the AWP. Zero can single-handedly shut this one down just with a single kill, delaying the bomb plant. And there we go. Does so beautifully. Forrest just about taps in the digits in time. The error's going to be there to finish him off. And GamerLegion get themselves onto 18. Dignitas left that one far too late. They took the initial casualty on ramp, and then they just stuck around. I don't know what they were waiting for. I don't know if they were waiting for a secondary peek from Dobbo. There had to be a point where they either step away and they try and take control elsewhere, or they just flash through and they try and take that ramp control. Instead, they were relying everything on Harry wrapping around the back in mid and getting something to work on a flank towards the A main, where there's always a player waiting. That time around, it was Rusty. GamerLegion just weren't able to, in fact, Dignitas just weren't able to do anything. Right now, they respond with pace outside. This must win round, otherwise it's going to go GamerLegion's way. Map point here in the first overtime of Nuke. And once again, Dignitas on the back foot. It's double OT or bust for them. They're taking this secret control, but if they push on to B, there's going to be 3 angry CTs waiting for them. ready to shut it down. In fact, there's two. The third's on a fast rotation. But they're in prime positions. They've got this crossfire set up. We've seen this crossfire essentially unpenetrable in many of these rounds. With a minute left to tick, Dignitas have expended quite a lot of their utility. Still 3 players towards the A site. That's where the bomb is too. So maybe this is a bit of a fake play. Maybe they try and cut off the rotates. If they execute onto the A site, as long as they don't just get completely wrecked, they can cut off the rotations coming in from B. Freiburg coming up the vent. This is deadly. Harry coming in from behind. Zero finds one. Bobo with another. Adam doing the work. And this is looking all said and done. It all comes down to Holzer. He's being spammed away while Flash. And Adam even with the BM to finish it off with the knife. GamerLegion take it 19-17. What a roller coaster of a map. But it goes their way. That is unreal. That is unreal. 13-4. Dignitas pull it right the way back, take it to overtime, and then they're just not able to finish it off. We're going to the third and final. It's going to be Inferno, and it's definitely one you don't want to miss, folks. Don't go too far. We'll be right back with you after this 5-minute break. Welcome back, folks. It's map number 3. It's been an absolute roller coaster so far, but we are here and we're in this third map. I mean, I don't even know how we've got here, to be honest. This is kind of ridiculous, but it's gone the distance. It's Inferno, and it's one that GamerLegion quite fancy. They're starting off on this CT side after winning that knife, so they're going to have all the Kevlar to work with. Not a single man going for any Kevlar or, a kit or utility. And they are just going for this mid-rush. There's the first headshot onto Heap. What a play here from GamerLegion. Crazy initiative and crazy balls to go for something like this, given the situation. And they're coming out on top quite nicely with it, hitting all the headshots, and it leaves it all down to Freiberg. A 1-on-3 situation. He's already been tagged down quite low. Saving grace, he has got the C4 on his back. Because as soon as he peeks out, takes another hit, down to 13. Single bullet from any weapon right now could take him out. He does swap out to that P250. Looking to try and get this C4 planted. I think that gives him enough extra money. If he can find this kill onto Rusty, then he'll be able to do so. But no. Rusty swings out. Freiberg's caught with his pants down and a smoke in his hand. And GamerLegion, quite comfortably, take that pistol round. And with a nice funky play as well. I mean, look at this. Heavy stack towards mid, push right down. Error kicking things off with 2 headshots. Maybe a little bit overzealous to peek for the third after he had the bomb down, but who cares? Bags of confidence, and it pays off nicely. Dignitas, they force up, but with no bomb plant, just means the Deagles. Almost would have liked to have seen them just go for an eco in this one. I suppose they didn't really get enough kills to justify it. Only 2 kills. Force buy makes sense. These players very, very powerful with these Desert Eagles as well. That one hit headshot potential. Something that all of these players seem to thrive with. And Forrest bursting through Boiler wants to try and find that frag on the player that he knows is lingering around short. An error up close and personal. MP9 in hand. Here's the sound cues of Forrest falling back. I think he knows that this is going to be a B here at this point. And actually through the gap at the edge of the smoke. Spots out the players. Lands a headshot through the smoke onto one. And that's going to be the rotation from GamerLegion. Right back round to this B site. All the men in place to deal with this one. Flash comes over the top, just slowing down Dignitas further. Very little utility for them to work with as well. Freiberg, he's the man with all of it on his belt. And as they push right in, smokes and mollies rain over. Harry finds that opening pick. Adam unable to do much damage there. But as Dobbo finds the kill that's required, the incendiary goes onto the site. That should prevent the plant, at least for a few seconds. It absolutely does. And there we go. MP9 boosts over the top. That's absolutely perfect from Dobbo. And absolutely perfect precision from Error too. That's 3 for him in that round. And Dobbo in that scenario, it's drilled. Yeah, you can see that they've practiced that. You say, okay, in that scenario, if Adam dies, they've got the 2 UK players on the B site. The coordination, the communication is going to be there, and it's going to be on point. And you say, okay, if Adam dies in that situation, I'm not going to try and go for something ridiculous where I flash through the smoke and I try and push through or something like that and risk my life. Instead, I'm going to throw this setup incendiary that I know that will land on default on the coffins. It will delay the plant. I then boost up the rotating man, and we deal with the round. And we try and prevent the C4 from going down. Because once that C4 goes down, their chances of winning the round decrease massively. Here in the third, only really against an eco, just the pistols come out for Dignitas, no Kevlar to accompany them, and the aggression, well, it just doesn't stop here from GamerLegion. Heap does punish it for now. Error, no longer able to wreak havoc with that MP9, but he's actually already paid it off. 3 kills in the last at $600 a pop. That's $1,800. It's also quick maths for you. GamerLegion with this man advantage. They've done a fair amount of damage early on too. Dignitas all sponged up, all with the pistols in hand. Heap has found himself an MP9. Of course, that was Errors that was dropped on the floor. And they do press on to this A site. But at range, as they push into long, I was expecting that from us from Zero to be deadly. Instead, Harry's 1-dig. It's even deadlier. Dobbo, once again, the anchor man trying to hold this one up. Finds the first, there's the second headshot. And he's just buying time for his teammate. Desperately trying to stay alive here for the rotations to come through. Does so, but as Adam comes across, there's no way for him to do the damage. Rusty just going to fall away and save this for Mass. That's a really, really tough pill to swallow. That is a difficult round to lose. GamerLegion, they were against a full eco. And Heap's just gone massive. The P250 finding him that opening kill. Then the MP9 following through for another 2. Harry with a beautiful 1D to open up proceedings on long. If he doesn't hit that shot, Zero almost certainly just mops the floor with that FAMAS from range. But this kind of caliber, anything's possible. In rounds like this, when you've got those deagles, anything is possible. And there we go. Dignitas, first round on the board in one that you just wouldn't expect whatsoever. I can already tell that this third and final map is going to be a back and forth affair. Anyone that's just joining us, we saw a 16-1 go Dignitas' way on GamerLegion's map pick of Overpass. That's how one-sided this was looking. 16-1 on GamerLegion's pick. And at that point, you just say, right, this is over. This is going to be a 2-0. Then GamerLegion go 13-4 up on Dignitas' pick of Nuke. Dignitas pull it back. We go to overtime. And then GamerLegion very narrowly come out on top. And now we're in the third and final. It's just been an absolute roller coaster of a series. I couldn't tell you who's going to take it. And as we go into the bye, GamerLegion, they find that opening pick. Error. Lovely bit of initiative there. Towards middle. Hits that opening shot. Is graded out by Forest. Zero can't do anything. Dobbo follows the same fate. And they do actually take a man disadvantage. And they lose this A bomb site. They've done a lot of damage. And this retake's certainly doable. Especially with the utility they have. They've got a couple of flashes, a smoke, and incendiary to work with. But they just fall away. They don't want anything to do with it. They go for the save. I'd have liked to have seen them wait out those smokes and see if they could find an avenue, an opening pick, maybe a chance to get back in. But no, they don't even want to risk losing what they have right now. If they carry across these 3 rifles, they should be able to drop something moving forward. They'll still have somewhat of an investment in the next. They're just trying to prevent Dignitas from steamrolling these early rounds. But right now, the scoreline leveled out 2-2. Big old buy comes out from Dignitas right now. They go for a little bit of a bonus, but considering they took a couple of casualties last round, they're going to play past the parcel, juggle around those weapons. AWP comes out on Holzerk. Still a couple of FAMASs to work with here for Dignitas as they face up against another full buy here from GamerLegion. Remember, they did save those 3 rifles across in the last, so that AWP, the M4, and the FAMAS didn't need to be purchased in this one. Instead, they just drop over those MP9s. Dobbo and Zero, they're the men to work with them, and as the flash comes through, Dobbo swings, 1-for-1 trade onto Harry. Not a bad start here for either side, to be honest. And that aggression funnels Dignitas into Banana. Rusty hasn't spotted it out just yet. On the jump, he will do, though. He's going to fall right back. Dignitas either need to be quick with this one, or they need to take a step away. They've been spotted. The rotation's already coming through. In fact, they're second-guessing it. Adam back towards the A site, expecting them to wrap back to the other side. As the smoke starts to rain over, there we go, Adam. Caught in CT, has to just throw the nade through the smoke. Kind of comes down to Rusty on this bomb site, and as he's flashed, he swings right out into the open, and that is not what you want to be going for. They were trying to go for some kind of coordinated swing, but Adam was fully blind and tagged up, and Rusty followed the same. GamerLegion, they've been completely locked out of this one. And it is going to go 3 to Dignitas. Another save call here from GamerLegion. This is something... I honestly hate casting Inferno for this one reason. Because of the way that the map works, the rotations are so long for the CTs that, especially in a game like this, where it's really all to play for, you see so many saves. The map seems to just take twice as long as any other, because every single time the CTs lose the bomb site, if they have a man disadvantage, or there's not enough time on the C4 and the rotations don't come in time or something like that, they just go and save. And it's the right play to go for, but it just means that it's a long map. It's definitely a long map. So far, we've seen a fair few of them, but Dignitas, they are able to take the lead. Despite losing the pistol, they go 2-0 down. They win the full eco, which is pretty mental. And they claw it back their way, 3-2. Despite the save coming through last round, Zero only actually saved an MP9, and Adam with that FAMAS. So they're going to choose not to invest around it. That's kind of interesting, considering they had the loss bonus. So they could actually justify going for somewhat of a buy in this one. Instead, they want to keep 2K in the bank on everybody. They want to make sure they've got enough money to go for a proper investment in the next. That's where they're going to have a 4-round loss bonus stacked up and actually have some money to work with. Error gets off to an unfortunate start. Flashed, burnt through the Molotov, forced right back. Harry with another to follow through. Nice 1-deke from Rusty. He's the man that I always talk about, finding them. 8K in hand. Flashbang from Holzerk blinds his teammate. Heap's able to trade it. This isn't going terribly for GamerLegion, but they do still have this mad disadvantage. They've now lost the A site, and Adam is miles away from the action. So Dobbo, he's found himself an AK, but if he wants to go for this retake, he's got to wait for Adam to get into position. And by that point, Dignitas will have taken these post-plant positions, the utility's been deployed, and this retake becomes 10 times harder. Three versus 2. As this bomb beeps further and further, it's just going to be another save call from GamerLegion. They want nothing to do with this one. They only have one kit. They don't have any util to work with. Adam realistically looking for an exit frag right now. He doesn't really want to carry across this FAMAS into the next. He wants to try and do some damage with it. Ooh, this blast stays alive to the C4 there, and I think he's swinging out, wants to try and find a kill into pit. Instead, all snatches away the AWP. That's actually huge. That is really big. Error wouldn't have had enough money to necessarily buy one here. I mean, he would have, but no utility, no helmet. So that's big for Adam to just dart in like that at the end, save that AWP. A little bit of a mistake there from Dignitas to not keep track of where it was and make sure that it didn't fall into the enemy's hands. Dobbo. Early incendiary into mid. Lots of utility deployed here on Banana though, and Adam, oh, that is rough. Burns in the flames, somehow comes out on top though and goes for more. Despite being tagged down to 8 HP from the Molotov, he's able to go in for 2 kills. That is unbelievable. Not expecting a peak there at all with Dignitas. And this has already been a back and forth affair. This really feels like the first time the GamerLegion have had any success in a buy round though. And it's all off of the back of Adam's big heroic play at the start. Still only 2 players towards this B bomb site. This could very easily crumble. No HEs here for Dignitas. If they did, I think they could have just deployed one over to the coffins. We completely eliminate Adam, but error on the site. There's the first shot. Adam swings out for more. That's his 3rd kill of the round, and he's been on a slither of HP the entire time. All comes down to Freiburg. The rotations are on their way, but they're not needed. Error finds his 2nd, and that B-site defense is absolutely solid. Holzerk still yet to find a frag on that AWP for Dignitas, and Error in the meantime, he's on 8. I couldn't stop talking about it on Nuke. I'm going to mention it again. On the CT side, Error is an absolute monster with that sniper. We didn't see it at all on Overpass. They got 16-1'd. On Nuke, we saw him get 24 kills at half-time, predominantly with that sniper. As soon as he moved over to the T-half, had very, very little impact. Back onto the CT side in overtime, started pulling out the kills once again. They are very lucky they're starting off on the defense here on Inferno because Error can just fire on all cylinders once again. And there we go. Look how fast that shot is. He is holding a paper-thin angle, and he's still connecting it right through the corner of the wall. Forrest can't get anything done. And Error, he's so versatile. He's already rotated round to long. There's no way Freiburg's expecting this AWP to be posted. Smoke goes over the top, but Error's not fazed by it. He continues to peek around this corner, pops out the arm. There's a secondary shot. Holzerk looks to trade it. Luckily, just gets in the nick of time before that incendiary is deployed. That's unfortunate from Error. Maybe after the 2nd shot, should have just fallen away. Nonetheless, still a man advantage here for GamerLegion. Still 2 players on this A site, and they're starting to get aggressive on B. They realize that Banana's clear. They're certain this is now going to be an A hit, and the flank's already in play. The rotation on its way. Even if the kills come through onto the site, as long as Dobbo and Zero can delay long enough, the flank will be in place. Heap watching it, though, and as Adam drops, Dignitas have actually got enough time to go back towards this B site if they want to. It's not looking like that's going to be the game plan. As the smokes rain over onto the A site, they do want to commit to this one. Zero, Molotov down a position, has to go into mini pit. They know exactly where he is right now, and they can try and isolate these gunfights. Crossfire in play. but they're too snappy to the trigger. Heap with 2 headshots, and Rusty. It's all gone horribly wrong. They had a man advantage. They had the positional advantage, and now they have nothing. Harry finishes off the job, and that pretty much all falls onto the shoulders of Heap right there. 3 snappy headshots to take that one over the top, and Dignitas right back into it. They trade round for round. GamerLegion, they have still got enough money to work with. They are going to pull out another full buy. Error with that AWP, but it's a real bottom of the barrel investment. They actually have nothing to work with after this. 4 of the 5 players down to just pretty much 0 cash. Rusty with 1200. He might be the man that's called upon to drop an AWP a little bit later when Error needs it. Rocky start though. Finally, Holzerk's able to put himself on the board, and Error! I mean, this is just crazy. Oh no, he's actually gone into the second Molotov. That's really unfortunate. But that's actually the second time so far this game that we've seen him stand in a Molotov down to 4 HP and then find the kill. It seems ridiculous. It seems like a crazy risk that he doesn't need to take. But when he can consistently pull it off, it just gives his team an advantage. Unfortunately, he actually literally 1Gs himself into the second Molotov, but... oh, with that kill coming on to 0... realistically, he's just trying to stay alive there, get a bit of an off angle going, and it just doesn't work out for him whatsoever. Would have been better off sticking onto the balcony, and in the meantime, they're just crumbling. Dignitas, they snatch away the site once again, and this will be another save call here from GamerLegion. They want nothing more to do with this. They are going to save those M4s. Unfortunately for them, though, that AWP is completely unretrievable this time. It's like halfway up short. It's in a similar position that it was in the last, I suppose, but... Adam with 20 HP cannot justify trying to get in and snatch it away. So they will just have the rifles carried across into the next. A little bit of a loss bonus starting to rack up for them too. So I actually wouldn't be surprised if we see a half buy come around these 2 weapons. I don't think they're going to fully invest around it. But we'll see a half buy come out, and there we go. Holzerk actually aware that they could lose this AWP. They did last time, so just throws it into the corner. There we go. 6 on the board for Dignitas. Much better start here on Inferno. Here's the replay. Error. Opening shot. Freiburg isn't even watching the window because the Molotov's in place. So he just knows there's no threat there. But there you go. Error looking the wrong way. Deploying the smoke. And he runs right into the flames. He is 11-6 though. So as I said before, having a huge, huge impact. That aforementioned pistol buy coming in around those 2 saved rifles. 0, not actually investing anything more than just that 5.7 and smoke. Doesn't want to go for the Kevlar, wants to make sure he's staying above that $2,000 mark. Whilst they just have 2 rifles to work with, Dignitas, they should be able to comfortably take this one. GamerLegion have gone for a bit of a stack towards this A site though. Crossfire and bracket. Error there to support with the flashbang. Bombo needs to do the heavy lifting with this M4, and it's a perfect flash from Error. Gives them the man advantage. Harry swings to trade it. Rusty with the 1-dig in the back of the head. That is such a good start from GamerLegion, and the smoke grenade going down means that that rifle, I think there's at least 1 retrievable. There we go. Rusty's the man to pick it up. He's got Kevlar on him as well. What a good start from GamerLegion. 2-man advantage. 2 rifles over towards this B bomb site. This is essentially a buy round at this point. As the smokes, the mollies start to come over to this B site. Adam in the corner, unfazed by now. Does for a tickle of damage towards the end of its life. He goes for the swing, trades 1-for-1. Gobbo there to do further damage, and the 1-for-1 trade, he'll be more than happy with it. Leaves Freiburg in a 1-on-3 situation. Does tap the bomb, baits out the man through the CT smoke. That gives him some time to work with, but I don't think he realizes it. The rotation's coming in for GamerLegion here. And Freiburg actually fancies his chances with this one. He's made a lot of noise in church, though. He needs to clear hard left. Does so. There's the kill. 3 to his name in this round. And it all comes down to 0. He's the only man without Kevlar. And Freiburg, he's completely outmaneuvered him. 10 seconds on this clock. He entertained the idea of going back to A. Instead commits to the B site. 0 swinging around. He's made so much noise from Banana though. And as the flash comes over the top, Freiburg doesn't even need it. Swings out, hits the headshot. A 1v3 and 4 for him in the round. And Dignitas take their 7th. That's unbelievable. We saw a 1v3 from Freiburg over on Overpass. And it was mental. Maybe not the same kind of prestige in that one, but still a very, very nice round, and it's enough to force GamerLegion onto a timeout. They are not happy with that one whatsoever. We get to see it again on the replay. This was really where Rusty could have shut it down. He had the info. Freiburg was making so much noise. I just don't think he was expecting him to hard swing. And Zero in that final situation with no Kevlar, whilst he only needed to hit 1 or 2 bullets, still very tricky, especially against someone like Freiburg. He hasn't had a massive impact on this game so far, but that 4K gets up the numbers a little bit. Maybe gets the adrenaline flowing too. Burst right into Banana. This is good. Rusty, a little bit of aggression, pays off nicely. Lots of damage dealt. The first kill found. Harry down to 12 points of health, and it's completely untraded. Rusty tickled up, but that's it. And Adam here to try and pick up the pieces. Full HP. Kevlar on his back. The flash comes over. Doesn't really affect him at all. He's still here to fire through for more. Double kill. Holzuk trade. 4 versus 2. And they are actually going to commit to this B side. Forces Rusty right back. The rotation's coming in. This time around, GamerLegion aren't going to go for the save. They've got a 2-man advantage. A good opportunity to take this one. And there's no further util here for Dignitas. They are fully reliant on hitting these shots. They have got the right tools for the job, though. Smoke makes things trickier for Forest. If anything, though, it means that you can actually play around it. That Molotov, perfectly placed. Forces Holzuk right out, and he even burns alive in it. Forest all on his lonesome. This C4 ticking rather low, and Rusty, by process of elimination, knows that he has to be in the smoke and spams right through it. Hits the head, and GamerLegion, they will be able to get this defused, take no casualties on the retake, and make it 4. Zero didn't actually have a kit there. That was a dangerous game, but holds on to it. Carries it across. And here's that replay. Adam really the danger man in this one. Rusty had a massive impact at the start. Tagged up all of these players. Made this double kill a lot easier for Adam to find. But maintaining the composure in those situations. Making sure that you do actually get the kills. That's what's important. And there we go. Round number 12. Dignitas still lead. But not by loads. It's not been the same as the last 2 maps. It's not been a super one-sided affair on the first half. It's actually been quite close, quite contentious, very back and forth. GamerLegion this time around, early 3-man setup towards Banana. I don't think this will stick around for too long. Rusty, there we go, already rotating as Adam starts to press up for the control. A little gap in this smoke means it should be able to spot someone on the cross. In the meantime, Era gets tagged up though, and oh, that is a messed up Molotov. Those door frames, very, very jagged. Volvo, please fix geometry. That took a really funky bounce. In the meantime, though, banana control established here from GamerLegion, and as the smoke's dissipated, Adam's got this advanced position towards tree, and this can be very, very powerful. Dignitas, they're starting to default back towards banana. They should know that there's potential, that there's a man towards these logs, and they are actually going to clear it. This Molotov's going to do so, but Adam goes for the wide swing before it's deployed, and Dobbo's there to support him. Holzuk trades, but once again, it's just perfect. You think Dignitas have got the upper hand. You think they've got the knowledge, and as the smoke dissipates, they're going to throw a Molotov, they're going to force Adam out of position, and it would just be a 1-for-0 trade. And instead, as the smoke dissipates, Adam swings before the Molotov can be deployed, and they go 2-for-1. Absolutely flawless, gives them this man advantage, and Dignitas, they're running out of options right now. They've got 20 seconds left in the spot. They need to push into the A site. There's the first. They haven't spotted out the second man towards Graveyard, but Forrest is on the angle, and Zero... well, he's good for 0. Doesn't get himself anything in this one. Bullet in the head is all he can find. Rusty knows that there's one on the site, sees the AWP drop on the floor, finds the kill. Forrest in Graveyard in the meantime, though, ready to just poke up when called upon. And off of his contact, Harry's going to swing. You wait for it. It works out perfectly. Harry's just fading out the man. But as Forrest goes for the hard swing, it doesn't work out at all. Dobbo. That's perfect. 3 kills. And a little bit of a whiff there. I think when Harry swung from pit, Forrest needed to swing with him, and instead, He waited it out, his teammate died, and he had to go for the hard clear onto Dobbo. That wall right there in Graveyard is pretty thin. Dobbo could have just spammed away as soon as he knew the position, and Forrest had to go for the fight, and he just whiffed the shots. GamerLegion right back in this, and, well, Dignitas, I think they've probably got one buy left in the tank. I wouldn't have said so if Heap wasn't on $8,000, but considering the amount of money he's got, he's probably going to drop to Freiburg. Harry and Holzerk can buy. Maybe he even drops an AWP. He'll probably drop an AWP to Holzerk. Holzerk will drop an AK to Freiburg or Forest, and they will go for a full investment here. Okay, just the rifles. Just the rifles. Holzerk not really fancying himself on this AWP. Definitely could have had one. Instead opts against it. He's only on 4 kills. He's lacking a little bit on his side right now. Error. He's been the big AWPer that the spotlight's been on so far this map. He's been putting up the numbers, hitting the fancy flicky shots. And once again, GamerLegion pressing for this banana control, and they take it nicely. There's really 2 ways of playing this CT side on Inferno. You either play a passive B defense, or you play that hyper-aggressive B defense. You try and take banana control every round. That's what GamerLegion have been doing. It's broken out nicely for them. This time, Dignitas, they funnel right into A. They push right through. They find the trades. Rusty's good for 2, but his teammates, they don't find anything, and Harry's there to pick up the pieces. 3 versus 2 situation. Dignitas, the bomb's down. GamerLegion going for this retake. Realistically, they could save and go for a buy in the next. Adam and Dobbo, the only players on his side that have no cash in the bank. This would certainly be a smart save call. But it's always just difficult. In a matchmaking, you'd always go for this. You'd just say, it's a 3v2. I'm going to push in. I'm going to try and see what I can do. Be the hero. A game like this, where it's all to play for, the rounds are far too important to throw away like that. GamerLegion, they would cause a major upset, a major ripple today if they beat Dignitas. It's only the Swiss stage, so it's not like it's elimination or anything like that. It's not like Dignitas would be packing their bags already. But it would be a big statement. It would be a big foot-down statement. And I think, frankly, they've already made a statement. They've already shown that these guys can contend with top 30 teams. Take it to a 3rd map. Keep it close. The win's still on the cards right now, though. GamerLegion, plenty of money to work with. Not the full investment. You see that contingency. A couple of FAMASs come out. Lack of utility on a couple of these guys. Dobbo's expended everything he has early on Banana. But saving those 2 rifles in the last does give them quite a lot to work with. Full buy here from Dignitas. They've re-established his banana control. This time round, Adam is not deployed a smoke and got super aggressive. Instead, it's Error posted at the top. Heap just needs to be very, very careful. If he goes for this peek, he almost certainly gets punished. He needs some support. He needs a flash to go over the top. Instead, it's the Molotov, but Freiburg peeks out before it's deployed, and Error still on the angle. We know that Error's no stranger to sitting in these Molotovs and waiting for the peek. Even in that scenario, I'm sure he would have sat in it for a good couple of seconds before falling away. With the man disadvantage, they're going to press further onto this B bomb site. Smokes are deployed. It cuts off Error's position. Secondary smoke eliminates the Molotov. Error, audacious peek towards the smoke in CT, but in the meantime, Rusty picking up the pieces beautifully on the site. And Error with the no-scope to finish off proceedings. Forrest Gonzo. And what a hold. I mean, that is unbelievable from GamerLegion. It puts their 6th on the board. This is shaping up to be an 8-7.5, especially considering GamerLegion. They've got all the tools to work with and Dignitas. They have no money in the bank. Look at this hold once again from Rusty. Against the AKs and the AWP, the FAMAS just prevails. The Dinks followed up by a shot in the chest, and Dignitas, for the 15th round, they want to call a timeout. No point in saving, no point in half buying. It has to be a full investment. None of this money carries across into the next. So we will see pistols come out. We'll see a Galil on Forest. I think we'll probably see a Galil on Freiburg as well. No, instead he goes for that UMP. He wants to prioritize some of that util. Very, very important here on Inferno. In fact, just utility damage as a whole on Inferno, especially on that CT side, is something that is very, very important indeed and needs to be high. off of the back of Rusty's heroic play in the last, he goes level pegging with Error, 13 kills apiece. They're both leading the charge on this server by quite the margin too. And as I said before, very much shaping up to be an 8-7 half. Error. AWP posted on mid. Oh, spots out the arm. I think he sees a foot on the jiggle there too. Doesn't quite see enough. Doesn't quite have the reactions to pull the trigger. We've seen him incredibly snappy so far. But off the back of it, Harry's actually there and he knows that it's in place. Unfortunately, doesn't go for the swing before the incendiary is deployed. So he can't do any damage. But I suppose they've got the information at the very least. Little do they know there's actually 4 players stacked up towards this A site. They could backtrack right now and hit B, and they'd only have to contend with Adam. But instead, they're guessing correctly, and they're going to walk straight into the blender. 0 with the first. The MP9, the UMP is just charging through, and it just gets mown away. Forrest, big impact with the Galil. Fires in for 2. Still alive to tell the tale as well, but 0 as he takes out his teammate. Forrest's valiant attempt. It just comes to nothing. 0 with 3 kills in the round and GamerLegion on to 7. It's not a bad half and they've recovered it very, very nicely at the end too. These two teams on this third map, just inseparable. And as I say, after the performance that we saw from GamerLegion on Overpass, I don't think anyone would have expected this to go to a third map and to be so close. Alrighty, second half time. Dignitas on this CT side. I'm going to go and have a little check to see what side they favor here on Inferno. But to be honest with you, none of the stats have kind of played out in this one at all. It seems historically that Dignitas don't favor this CT side. They actually put the majority of the rounds on the board on that T half. They have a 52% T round win percentage, only 36 on that CT side. So if we're going off of that, then they've got an advantage. Then GamerLegion have actually got an advantage here, especially considering they actually favor their T side with that 53 to 45%. But as I said before, none of these statistics have come into play. They've been completely inaccurate. They've been completely irrelevant for this series. This one's been a complete roller coaster, and it's been just touch and go the whole way through. A completely clean pistol round here from Dignitas. 3 beautiful shots coming through. Heap just defending that site like a rock. No one can break past him. Rusty finally trades it, but in a 3-on-1, he has got the C4 on his back. Realistically looking to try and get it planted here. That gives his team some extra money. Has to be very careful, though. Realistically wants to try and find one more kill before he tries to, or at least gather a little bit of information on where these remaining players are. I've actually rotated a man back towards the A site. Off of the back of that contact, Forrest will definitely make his way back to B. Rusty's got an avenue right now, though, that he could get this bomb planted if he plants it right now. Expecting someone to come in from Banana. Holzerk swings from CT. Instead, could have followed up with the double, but instead, Freiburg trades it. And Dignitas, I mean, that's a great pistol round. It came a little bit close for comfort at the end, but here's that 3K from Heath. Bang, bang, bang. 3 headshots. Freiburg there to follow up with a 4th. Absolutely flawless stuff. Puts Dignitas onto 9 and puts them off to a good start. As I said before, usually don't favor this CT side, so finding that opening round does give them a nice little advantage, nice little confidence booster moving forward. Rusty currently sitting 16 to 8. He's got a 2 KD in his side of losing right now. That's got to be tilting. And Dobbo He takes an early blow. Fast peek from Freiburg towards the apartments. That's the nade to finish him off. And remember, this is a buy here from GamerLegion. These pistols are accompanied by Kevlar. With the lack of bomb plant, didn't have these rifles come out, and instead it's just the pistols, and they've just been completely mowed down. No damage whatsoever through the smokes. Dignitas are firing through, and GamerLegion is looking like it's going to be a last limp attempt to try and get this C4 planted. The smoke comes through for Rusty, gives him a little sightline to work with this Tech 9, but look how stacked this A site is right now. The only saving grace is that Zero's got this C4 on his back. But unless they rotate back round to B, I see no opportunity for them to get it planted on A right now. Rusty's about to walk into a double man setup on short. And as soon as they peek right in, Freiburg, there's the first. The C4 down. Rusty, once again, left in an impossible situation. Tech 9 in hand, does find the first, but holds out the insurance policy from behind to make sure that he deals that final finishing blow. And Dignitas comfortably take the 10th. Really are looking to put an 11th on the board here as well. This is going to be a freebie, a full eco right now for GamerLegion. We will see a couple of pistols come out. A couple of these players have found a couple of kills, especially Rusty in these last few rounds. I think he's found 3. Or in fact, the last 2 rounds he's found 3. That gives him a little bit of extra cash to work with to go for that Deagle buy. And we've seen how crispy he can be with it. So realistically, looking to try and find 1 or 2 frags in this one too. He's had a lot of impact so far this game, but needs to do so when the rifles are out. It's all about damage control here for Dignitas. If they can take no casualties, this would be perfect, and that's exactly what they do. Flawless round, builds up the bank. I think they'll even go for a bonus in the next. These MP9s still in play, 2 FAMASs. No reinvestments here for Dignitas. They're going to face up against these AKs with what they have. Error, not going for the AWP either. We saw this on Nuke. Firing on all cylinders with the AWP when he's on the defense. As soon as he moves over to the attacking side, just doesn't fancy it at all. Just says, nope, do you know what? I'm just going to drop down to a rifle. Gives Dignitas an opportunity, though. They can make this one work with just the half buy as they stack up towards B. Early utility damage here on Banana. Rusty has been tagged down so low, and he's not even spotted anyone yet. And off of the back of the early nade stat, they actually rotate 2 players back to Ace. They've got a 4-man setup on this A site, just the solo anchor on B, and they're hoping that GamerLegion are put off of going towards B, purely down to the fact there was so much utility at the start, they'll expect to stack. Instead, they seem to have read this play quite nicely. Dignitas, they've taken a big gamble. It's often what you do when you're on a bonus round like this, but it means that Heap is in a very difficult situation. Jiggle peek, spots out 2, deploys the smoke. That's going to keep the opponents at bay for a few seconds. Desperately calling for the rotations. I was actually expecting GamerLegion to flash through it and press harder, but instead, they stay in Banana. They allow Dignitas to pull over a man on the rotate, and they've got Holzer watching the back lines. He's an imminent threat as soon as GamerLegion press onto this fight, and as the flashes come over, it's an absolute shutdown. Heap and Harry with the MP9 and the FAMAS completely shut it down. Holzert from behind, finds himself 2. The C4 just about planted, but that is an incredibly successful round from Dignitas. That's a full buy there from GamerLegion. This is a bonus round from Dignitas, and it's flawless. Look at it, the MP9 just mowing through their opponents at that kind of range. That's just the damage they deal. This is looking a little bit more like the Dignitas that we saw on Overpass. They seem really in control of this situation. Off of the back of the bomb plant, GamerLegion will actually have enough cash to go for a full investment here. And remember, they have that 4-round loss bonus too. This was an 8-7 half. Dignitas have taken it 12-7. Realistically, they want to try and put some rounds on the board, though. They've got the utility, they've got the rifles, they've got the tools to work with. They just need to put them to good use. And there we go. Rusty opening things up with a nice early pick. Holzerk drops. But Forrest is close to trade it. And there we go. Right through the wall. Drops the bomb. Don't think he realizes it. But he wants to press further. Peeks into Rusty. Lands a second headshot. You'd almost always expect Forrest to fall right back there. But with the support from Freiburg in the apartments, he doesn't need to. Freiburg's got his back. And they can press harder. That's a fantastic start from Dignitas after taking that man casualty. And Adam, he now needs to pick up the pieces. Takes the dink in the meantime, and Heap He's good for both. The AK just does so much damage, and even the BM with the Tech 9 after. Fantastic stuff. Dignitas 5 in a row. They're on to 13, and they force GamerLegion into what will probably just be a pistol buy here. With no bomb plant and only 2 kills found, I believe. I'm not sure what more they can pull into this. Just a fantastic play there from Forest. And as I say, the support from Freiburg's just superb. He's only good for the 1, but it's certainly enough. Now GamerLegion down to these pistols. It's actually Tech 9s all round. The Tech 9s kind of come back into the game. I remember it used to be a really, really prominent pistol. Everyone would use it. It was super OP. Its running accuracy and things like that was just mental. Counter-Strike nerfed it. A lot of people switched over to the CZ. And now we're back. It's Tech 9 time. Unfortunate miss there from Holzerk. Takes a tickle of damage. Only 15 points of it. And he wants to fall away. Doesn't want to get overwhelmed by these Tech 9s, so isn't going to play too close to this smoke. Instead, plays a little bit of a deeper angle on short. He's got support right next to him in case it's needed. Starts away over. That's Forest due to swing right out and completely shut it down. Forest, Freiburg, Holzerk, all find 1 apiece. Rusty with the Tech 9 does do a little bit of damage, but Holzerk in the back lines with the 5-7 deals the finishing blow. And Zero, what the hell was that? 2 quick headshots, brings it back into contention, picks up the M4. Had an opportunity to just go back to the site and get that bomb planted, but wanted to find 1 more kill before doing so, and that was his demise. That looks scary for a split second there. We do actually get to see it again. Swings right in. That's the spam ability. The running accuracy with that Tech 9 coming into full fruition, and it just doesn't quite do the job. Dignitas onto 14. They might be able to close this one out right here, right now. Against the buy, if they make this work, it's series point. And GamerLegion won't have tons of cash to work with in the next, especially if they don't get a bomb plant here. This is a must-win round for the European side. Not a great start from Adam. Already been tagged down very, very low. Incendiary comes over the top. Just keeps these T's at bay. They've taken this banana control, but they're all stacked up. The secondary nade lands. Gets Rusty down so low, and I have no idea how Adam's still alive. 6 points of health to his name, and it's looking like they're going to go for it. Push. He's fully blinded. Bams away. That's Harry's cue to swing. He's good for 3. Swaps to the diesel. Tons of damage dealt. Can't quite finish off the job, but Forest is there to do so. The swing through the smoke. It's 15 for Dignitas. This has been a really, really close series. Exciting right up until the halfway point. The GamerLegion on this T side, they are just majorly lacking, and it's definitely something that they just need to go back to the drawing board with. Absolutely could be the beginning of the end here for GamerLegion. The final buy comes out. Adam demoted to the Mac 10. Galil's on the rest. And all that AWP. Holzerk, he spotted out the head before. I think Error was praying. Adam's there to swap out. Upgrade to the Galil. But Holzerk still ready. Posted on the angle. The flash comes over. Flicks doesn't quite connect. Misses by a millimeter. That would have been awesome if it had hit that shot. Fully ready for the swing to come in from Boiler. And Freiburg, in the meantime, I think he might have just spotted out Adam. He's definitely relayed the information. Holzerk can't quite connect the shot. But Dignitas have still got this man advantage. Make it 2 as Forest finds 1 more. Freiburg with another. And this is looking like it's all over. The final man, it's Rusty to try and clutch this one up. A 1 versus 5. He's a superb player, but he's certainly not this good. And there we go. Forest finishes off the job. Dignitas 16-7. That was a very, very close and exciting series. But it just wasn't enough. It wasn't enough from GamerLegion. I'm actually incredibly impressed with the performance that they put up. I'm pretty disappointed with Overpass, to be honest. That was just a really rough one. But to win Nuke and then to have that really close contentious first half on Inferno, there's definitely something there. And I think this roster, we've seen them develop. We've seen them have we've seen them have multiple really strong performances recently. And I think that if they continue, they stick together, they've got a really good chance of becoming a top 30 team very, very soon in the future. But for now, they're just not a contender with a side like Dignitas. Bags of confidence, bags of experience, and it all came into the server today. A fantastic 2-1. And I mean, that's pretty much a wrap. That's all from me here from the B stream. It's been a fantastic game. Of course, that was the opening matchup. So that puts Dignitas 1-0 and GamerLegion 0-1. So we will see more Counter-Strike coming up over the next few days. But for now, that's going to be all from me. Thank you so much for watching. And I will, yeah, I'll be with you back soon. Good night, everybody.